So what's the connection? How do we?
Yeah.
Do we? Yeah.
So
There is no connection.
Perfectly worded
Wednesday,
question.
last Wednesday
How
when
do
you were
we-
asking,
what do we- yeah.
How do we know you?
Who
or
are
was it
you?
last Wednesday? When
I don't know. Who are you people?
Are you a
What are you doing in my house?
We're in the neighborhood.
drummer from another mother?
Pretty much.
I like the lava lamp.
You like that?
It's good.
Oh yeah.
It's unique.
Right. We're totally live now.
Sweet.
I think.
Sorry in
I
advance.
feel live.
You'll feel alive.
Yeah. I feel so live.
I feel so alive.
Live is good.
Okay. I feel so alive. Wonderful. Wonderful. Annies, let's do some introductions here. How about that? We can just go off. I feel like I know you guys already.
I
It's
know.
awesome.
I know. We go way back.
We go way back about, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe?
that's
20
enough.
minutes?
That's
feel like
pushing
that's
it.
enough.
That's pushing
Yeah.
it.
That's fine.
Anyways, welcome to episode number 122 of the CobraCast podcast with me, your designated driver for tonight, with all the drinkers in the house,
Cheers.
Bobby Sharon, and we have Citizen Band Radio. And the reason, I'm not saying the number one reason is, but it's sort of like we're welcoming you to the family because we got a big Hanover show.
Yep.
Next Saturday night, March 16th, with 333 Blackheart Saints and a good Rodgering, and then you guys are opening it up, which is going to be an awesome show. And I'm emceeing, so it's a beautiful thing.
Nice.
Anyways, James, Aaron, and Rachel in the house.
Yeah.
Now everybody's getting
we're here.
silent.
Yeah.
No one wants to say shit.
Thank
covered
you.
everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks for driving all this way. How's that?
Hell yeah, man.
Pretty
Thanks.
good. Yeah.
This is north. Man, I thought I lived north.
It's like
No,
South
this is
Dallas
north.
up here. Yeah.
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 As Jim from Texas Miss says, you live in like South Dallas. So
Yes, that's about
Accurate.
right.
it's not that far. I mean, well, yeah, because a lot of people drive up here from South Austin, and it is a little bit of a drive. So
Yeah. Just one or two connecting flights got us here. So.
Yeah. Well, I
This
took
is-
I
It
took
worked
the
out.
I
It
took
worked
the
out.
Citizen Band Radio private jet, but maybe
you?
that was
Somebody
The private
bad,
jet, hey
bad,
now.
bad use of
So
public
that's why our
taxes.
taxes were
Yeah.
in
Bad
such
use of
disarray.
I
tax
think-
money.
I think that's a Mazda.
It's a Toyota.
it's a Japanese car. Don't worry about it.
It's
So
good. It works.
It's over 10 years old too.
Well,
yeah.
Remember, I said I had no questions. I just have one.
Okay.
What's up with the name? Because I was thinking about that today. I'm like, Citizen Band Radio. That's pretty cool, but I mean, there's got to be something behind it.
Yeah, I think so. Everything kind of started with Aaron and I just kind of messing around, and really we were in like an indie pop band for the most part, and kind of wanted to do something a little heavier, and it just kind of turned into dropping my jazz master down to like C standard tuning and said, "This is pretty cool. Let's just build something around this." And so we'd spent a lot of time just kind of shooting names, and I kind of decided I wanted something really punny. And we had a couple of terrible ideas, and that one just kind of came up, as like Citizen Band, BAND radio, and
Yeah.
like CB radio kind of stuff. But also, I think, we had this concept in mind of, let's write music that is honest, and we just don't give a shit about getting on the radio. It's just...
Yeah.
I mean, do local bands get on the radio anymore?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
Just do me a little favor. Just
Yeah.
pull up that mic a little bit, and we're good to go, man.
Hey, is that
Beautiful.
good?
That's what I'm talking about. All
Awesome.
right. Awesome.
So yes, they do. Loris Lowe is awesome about
Yeah.
that. She really hits it out of the park there.
I was just about to say that.
But yes, it is difficult for local bands to get on a national radio airplay or any kind of, even regional airplay. It's really difficult to do that. But when you have people championing whatever.
Nailed it.
Championing. There we
Nailed,
go.
yeah, championing.
One more beer.
One more beer, and it'll come out like butter.
Chafing is
yeah,
Chafting.
all that, yeah.
Is that a word, chafting?
It is now.
It is now. He's made a word.
I made it.
All right. Awesome.
Anywho, championing local acts, it really means a lot. So, that includes you, like I said, Loris, and there's a handful of folks out there that we absolutely appreciate.
Yeah. There was a bunch of shows back in the day. Like, there was a station called Z Rock that used to be here. I think it's like a talk.
yeah.
It was. I think it went to Tejano, then to Talk Radio, then to Top 40. I don't even know what it is now. And they'd have a bunch of local band stuff like Saturday nights and Sundays and all sorts of good stuff there. But man, like the local music is just kind of, it's either college or AM. I heard someone talk about they were on AM radio. I'm like, is AM still a thing? I didn't even know that people even listen to AM radio still.
If it's not for sports or news, I did not know.
Yeah.
Like car talk on the weekends.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something,
Yeah, right. I mean, it also depends on the genre too, because you got guys on 101X playing local metal bands, late at night. So I mean, it's kind of out there, but yeah, it's like it's also really hard and difficult, and it's like.
Yeah, I think part of it is too that local. I think not saying local radio stations are pretty much local these days to whatever town they're in. But man, they're really struggling because everybody's like listening to Spotify or Pandora or iHeartRadio or whatever the case may be, and those having 1 million listeners a day drops down to 500,000, drops down to 300,000, and from what I understand, man, it's really really hurting now.
I don't listen to any music.
I don't either.
Radio ever. I listen to public radio and.
So you're part of the problem.
I
That's
am.
what he's trying to say.
There's nothing on FM radio that interests me other than talk radio, BBC, and the classical station.
Yeah.
I wish we don't even have a good jazz station in Austin.
I couldn't even tell you what's on the radio now. I mean,
nothing. There's nothing.
I couldn't even tell you this. I know there's KLBJ. I know there's like 101X or something, but I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
And I don't even listen to those two.
Yeah.
Very rarely, we drive my fiance's car. It's a thing where we'll put on KLBJ if I don't have a CD with me or something, and it's Steve Ray Vaughan, Pink Floyd,
AC/DC.
It's the same 10 bands.
Yeah.
And they don't mix it up at all. And I was like, okay, so we can see where this is going. I think someone should, some would be really cool if they could do it is if someone had a shit ton of money and just opened a radio station, an FM radio station, and just had local bands, and had local artists on it.
Well,
24/7.
I think maybe the closest thing is the KUTX station. But
make it cool though.
Yeah. Make it relevant.
I mean, no, make it cool. Have like cool DJs and stuff on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And have like that stuff is no offense. I mean, it's cool that they're doing it, but
Yeah.
There's 8 minutes of Jazz Odyssey.
yeah.
No, I wish there
And quiet
was. That would be
talking.
rad, but there's not. Yeah.
She's-
I would go for 8
she's
minutes
actually
of jazz.
serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's rad. I
Jazz
would jam that
Odyssey.
shit
It's
in
a
the
thing.
morning.
There's
Yeah.
a Jazz Odyssey hour.
We got like
You have to-
Spinal Tap.
Yes,
Yeah, all over
exactly, exactly. That's
Are we playing Stonehenge tonight? I saw that about a week ago. It popped up on Netflix. And I remember when it first came out. I remember seeing that at a theater back in like '84. I was a
Nice,
little younger
yeah.
back then, but I mean, I always wondered. I mean, I was always wishing they would make a real part 2 of it. They did a part 2, but it was kind of
They did?
it was more like a
was that there's an album that came out that was Break Like the Wind, which
Yeah.
was hilarious.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And now
Break Like the Wind.
the bass player has a new album out.
Yeah. Derek Smalls, right?
Derek Smalls
Oh, he's
has a
got
new
one.
album out, and
Yeah.
it is.
He's probably
It exists.
he probably has a bunch of killer guest musicians on it and stuff
Yes,
too. I would have done
absolutely.
it. Metallica's probably on it. I mean,
There's some shredders on there.
ACDC's on it. Everybody's on that damn thing. I guarantee it. No, but they actually did I'm not going to say it was a television version or something that they pulled off for that. It was something. It wasn't like a movie. It was like an hour special or something that they did, and it was just god awful horrible.
I don't remember that, but I wouldn't doubt it.
So is everybody from Austin here? Or
No.
No, I don't think anybody's from Austin.
Nope.
isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
That
like
happens
it's
a
like
lot
a
up here.
unicorn now being from Austin.
It's
So many
Yeah.
you
transplants.
very rarely meet someone that's actually born and bred from Austin now.
I love that
comes up here.
I live here and I barely ever experience having to hear a southern accent.
Where you from?
From New York.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm from Connecticut.
Rad. What
Right.
part?
Bristol.
Where?
ESPN.
I also went to college in Boston and
Did you?
ended up staying there for 12 years. So
Yeah, I was there till. I mean, I grew up there, and I played in the scene between the Jersey and New York and Connecticut, Massachusetts, and all that shit. You
Yeah.
know, did all that. Moved down here in '91, so I've been here ever since.
right on.
Nice.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's as you know, it's okay. I mean, but it's I don't know. It's a different. It's like a different planet. And I go back now. It's a different planet.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And it's when I first moved here, it was the weird thing for me was how friendly everybody was.
Oh yeah.
Did that kind of get
yeah.
you? How long you been here for?
Weird. Yeah.
Since 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
So you've been here a good little chunk of time. Then.
Yeah.
You come down here for music?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. I think the first time I came down was one of my bands got accepted for South by,
Oh.
and I was like, "This is cool. This is neat." And
You're one of those then, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, it's true.
There's a lot
It's
of
true.
people that do that. They come down and they fall in love with the town
Right.
for South by, and they think it's like that all the time. There's people that like move. They're like, hey, since South by's gone, hey, it's not as cool as it was like a couple weeks ago, you know?
Oh, I didn't think that because my other half lived in Texas since the 90s, or lived in Austin since the 90s, but I met her up in Boston, so it was a matter of time.
Yeah. Boston's a cool town.
That's another town that's nice to visit and hard to live.
That whole section of town, the whole section of the country, it's cool. Like everybody's like, oh, the foliage in the fall. It's like, yeah, once you hit the fall's over, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like snow and all that shit,
Right.
you're not gonna survive.
Yeah, if you like to huddle over a space heater for
Oh, that
like
fucking
6
sucks.
months.
Oh, my
yeah.
God.
If you like to have money in your wallet, you better stay away from that.
Yeah.
You know.
That's another thing too. The taxes are real high up there now.
Everything's
That's
real
my
high.
mother. My whole family pretty much still lives up there, and I hear from all the people I went to high school with. It's like, man, fucking Connecticut sucks. It's like the taxes are, and they're telling me what they're paying for taxes up there on houses. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Right.
twice as much we got as we take, as we pay down here.
Yep.
So did you find something right away when you got here? You moved down with a band though, right? Or no?
No, I didn't.
Really? You just quit your band and moved down?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ballsy move.
Yeah, because I had never really lived off of the East Coast before I moved here, so it was a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I met people right away, like you said. Like people are so friendly. Like actually, when I was still in Boston, I was hitting Austin Craigslist, like bands that were looking for drummers, and just hitting them up from Boston, saying like, "Hey, I'm going to be down in the summer, so if you're still looking for a drummer in the summer, let me know."
That's the thing, Max. I always get hit up for bass players and drummers all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know a bass player know a good drummer?
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, it's not like they grow on trees, but there's a lot of drummers and there's a lot of bass players, but there's not so many good ones here and there. There's those special cats that get all the gigs. I mean, seriously,
They're just waiting for like
Well,
a good one to show up.
All the good ones are in like 3 or 4 bands too. That's part of the problem.
yeah, isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that all the time over here because I'm, back when I first moved here, it was, you had one band and that was it.
Right.
Excuse me. And then it's like if you did a side project, it was, hey man, did you hear about Joey? Joey's over here doing a side project. He's playing in this other band. It was a big deal.
Yep.
Now it's a thing where, I mean, a band goes out and plays, and you never see the same 4 or 5 guys. There's always like a mixture of different guys that come in and go out because they all got different gigs. And Joey's gonna fill in for Johnny because Johnny's got a gig, over down the street. I mean, it's like so every time you go see a band, it's never like the band. It's like a hodgepodge mixture of what the band is supposed to be.
There's an upside of that though, because I do think that Austin still fosters like this community where you bump into people at shows and you still have a chance of people being like, "Oh, dude, we need somebody to sit in, next month. Like, what do you, are you free that day?" So there's still some, I don't know, like there's a lot of support, mutual support, I think, going on. And like, I mean, we've just kind of headed out on with this project, and already like the folks that we're meeting are like, "Dude, let's do this again." You know what I mean? So you're meeting people that. There's a lot of the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing where you're like, "Oh, dude, yeah, you played with so and so."
It's very incestuous.
Yeah,
Austin.
yeah.
Everybody's
With me,
played
it's like it's 2 degrees with me.
Yeah,
I can hit anybody with 2 people.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest fucking thing now. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hit celebrities with 2 people. It's crazy. People just, I said 6 people. Really? You need 6 people?
That's true. Yeah.
But the cool thing about this scene is, if you haven't already known, is like the bands really help each other out, and I've been saying this for the past couple months, ever since like New Year's. It's like I really think like 2018 that bands are really stepping their game up and putting together really cool bills, bringing new venues into the mix. But I mean, even this bill on the 16th with you guys, I mean, those are four of my, three of my, well, you guys are probably another favorite too. Of my bands, I was telling Tony, I said, man, those are all my boys. All those bands are my boys, And he goes, what, you want MC? I'm like, I'm in. You know me, I'm in. So it was, now it's a party, you know what I mean? So, and you'll find out, man, all the bands are just, you guys, this is like your second show, right?
Third
This
will
show.
be the third show.
Have you played Hanover's yet?
Yeah. I mean, so we have
Yeah.
previously, but yeah.
You're going to love that joint because the sound guy is great in that place.
They're going to love us.
They're going to love you?
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring you guys on strong, so.
We're going to blow some people away.
Yeah, that's going to be killer, man. That's the thing, too, because I know Tony and those guys, when they put bills together, they don't want to, that first band, they want them to, kick some major ass because that's what's going to, tell the tale for the rest of the night. You know what I mean?
Get everybody pumped up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's going to be a busy weekend, too, because, I mean, Southwide's going to be in, and plus it's St. Patrick's Day, like, what, the next day? Or is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be out of control.
When I lived in Boston, the St. Patty's weekend gigs
Sure.
were covered in puke, but
Nice.
they were heavily attended. Let's say that it's like a shit show.
It's all Irish up there.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like bigger than Christmas.
Yep.
Like
Well, we
yeah.
played in another band, like a week before St. Patty's Day, something like that, and it was still like a shit show.
Right.
So I just can't imagine with that kind of build up how crazy it was, like day of.
Hey, speaking of covered in puke, do you think you could hand me another beer?
Sure.
Thanks.
You want a Miller Lite?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You ring the
Can you
bell.
hand
You
me
gotta ring
another
the bell.
shitty beer?
Ring my bell.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks.
Here to help.
There you
Thanks,
go.
man.
Ring that bell. Ring that bell. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, somebody left that up. There's a band that's been coming up here. I mean, they've been on like 3 times already. I love them to death. Anyways, they kept bringing that bell. So finally, the last time they were here, they just left the bell. I'm like, hey, you forgot the bell. He goes, man, that bell belongs here. We bought it. We got it for your podcast. So I use it, every time.
You can
somebody
thank
comes-
them for us then. too.
Yeah. So, but they went through. I think like the first time they were here, they went through like a case and a half of beer between like 3 of them. They went ape shit. So
Crap, we need an upper game.
I know.
yeah, they're a little nuts, a
the
little
Miller
crazy, but
coming.
good guys though. So what about you?
What about you, man?
Hell
what
of a
about
segment.
Hey, you.
Who the hell are you?
She'll understand me. I get going. I get
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Fucking.
No,
what
so
about
you're
you?
not- So
you with the
nobody
shirt.
here is from Austin then. So
No.
what's your story?
Yeah, so I grew up outside of D.C. in Northern Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
And ended up going to school in Pennsylvania, and my ass got too cold, so I decided to move down here after school for music too. So that was 2013.
Newbies then.
Newbies, yep.
Yeah, I mean anything under like 10 is a newbie. I think.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm considered like a local now. So
Fair enough.
in a weird way.
Yeah.
Am I a Texan yet for 2007?
Man, I don't know.
Like 11 years.
Do you own a gun?
You want a gun?
Don't.
Then no.
Shit, man.
You got to get one.
You gotta go.
really
on,
wanna
yeah.
be
Did you
a
vote for
Texan.
Trump?
I thought that came with
No.
the driver's
Then
license.
you're not
They
a
just hand you a
Texan.
gun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to have a gun and voted for Trump.
Oh, then fuck
And then you
that,
could be-
man.
you're like
I'll
shoot
never,
in.
I'll never,
It's like you're
I'll
shooting.
never
in.
qualify.
You shoot in.
Shit.
Yeah, I was talking. One of my comedian buddies came in and we were talking about. He goes, "Well, what's the politics like in Texas now?" I'm like, "Man, well, it's Trump town pretty much. If you're a Democrat in Texas, you're pretty much fucked. I mean, it's the way it is."
You got the little blue hole.
Yeah,
It's
not
called
Austin, though, man. Austin's the oasis.
Where's the part of Austin you go to?
The blue dot.
I don't know. It's. I think it's the blue dot, like downtown, like for the college
Yeah.
part. But everywhere else, like up here in like Williamson County, they ain't like that. It's just if you go by like where the voting things are now, it's just all Republican signs, and you have like 1 or 2 Democrats. I think the Republicans go out at night and tear them all, the Democrat signs down and throw them away. So
That answers what happened last night. Then.
is that what was that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
We were 700,000 votes behind from Ted Cruz and Beto.
Oh, right.
700,000 vote difference.
I don't know. The whole
Not that I pay attention to that.
Yeah, I don't.
Pulling that out of my ass.
I'm just like the only thing. I was paying attention to it for a while, and we really don't talk politics on here because it's just everybody gets upset and because everybody's got an
Yeah,
opinion.
Rachel,
and
what the hell?
everybody's got
Gotta bring that
opinions.
shit
And
up.
but my thing is, this whole train wreck of a fucking Trump administration right now, it's more like reality TV than anything else.
It
Well, that's what he's good at, right?
Yeah, but
Reality
it's like,
TV.
I mean, every day someone's resigning or, some porn chick is popping out of the woodwork. And, I mean, it just gets better by the day, So,
better.
better.
That word is definitely
Well, I don't mean,
Definitely questionable.
I don't mean like better like for us, but
juicier.
From a comedian standpoint.
for a comedian
Yeah, that's
standpoint.
true.
I
Yeah,
even the
yeah.
comedians don't even like do the Trump material anymore because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Right.
All the comedians, I don't even touch it. They're like, fuck that. I mean, it's too easy.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, it was Caitlyn Jenner. They played on for a little bit, and it was the Trump stuff was like, oh, okay, we heard every Trump joke. That's like the gift that keeps on giving for comedians,
Oh yeah.
Right.
So
It's the low hanging fruit.
the low hanging fruit. You're a dwarf, and it's low hanging fruit. So what about you, my friend?
All right.
He's got a story. I can tell.
Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Chapter
Yeah.
1.
I've been in Texas the longest.
Really?
I moved here in '82, but I lived in San Antonio for about 20 years, and then moved up here in 2002 for a band for music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Canadian actually, so I'm the Ferner.
Okay, answer me a question. Or answer my question. How's that?
Okay.
What is the deal with
Riddle me this.
riddle me this? We were talking about this on the last podcast, and it might have changed since I've been up to Canada, but is it true about the beer having more alcohol in it than in the States?
I mean, beer has more alcohol per state.
Yeah.
Like Oklahoma has a 3.5% limit on beer alcohol. So
Salt Lake City's the worst.
people will have to go, or I mean, that's just a number that I've heard, but I know that alcohol in Oklahoma is less than in Texas, so people will go across the border, across the Red River just to get beer because it's more powerful. Now, whether it's higher in Canada than here, I mean, I cannot say that.
Yeah, because when I lived in Connecticut, I went to excuse me, I went to
Speaking of,
Can you bring that for me too while you're at it?
damn, you guys are professionals. What do you call it? I went to Canada for New Year's Eve one year.
nice.
I was like 21 years old, and first of all, it was the coldest I've ever been in my whole life.
Thanks, sir.
It was terrible.
You have
Must have
no
been like-
idea.
What city were you in?
It was over the border of New York State. I couldn't
Oh,
tell
okay.
you the town, what it was, but
Like Niagara.
all I know as I had to go through customs to get there, and I was so cold I couldn't believe it. Anyways, so we go out to this bar for New Year's Eve, and I had like 4 beers, and I was destroyed. And I was fucking destroyed.
That might have been the altitude.
I'm like, yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So is
And
it high altitude there? No.
I mean,
not that high.
Oh.
it doesn't necessarily have to be. No.
Yeah, it's not like it's up in the mountains of Colorado or something.
Right.
But so I go up to the bartender. I said, "Man, I'm fucking hammered." And he goes, "Where are you from?" And I told him, and he's like, "You got to realize Canada. This is talking like 1989.
Right.
It's got twice as much alcohol as where you're from. So if say a beer, say like a Budweiser beer is like what? I don't know. Was it
All right,
4%?
Yeah, probably 4.
These were like 8%.
Wow.
So I always wanted to talk to someone from Canada and find out the real deal on that because we're, I'm kind of spewing out facts on a couple podcasts ago, and I want to make sure I got it right. But,
So I was a little young when I moved down.
oh, okay, well, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I mean, we didn't. No. We didn't really share beer. When I was 8. Although I had wine, but anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, I want another story altogether.
But I can't speak to if it's got a higher alcohol content or not. But I know that it's like within the states, they're different per state.
Yeah, because I mentioned Salt Lake City
Yeah.
because of the Mormonism there.
Right.
The alcohol percent is really low. Like you're like, oh, I need to hydrate. Can I get a Guinness? Because it's like, no alcohol. Like damned if you're gonna get drunk in
It's like
Salt
you're
Lake
drinking
City.
an old Duels or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Texas Select or
Yeah.
something. So how did this whole project kind of come together then?
Magic.
Because
So-
you're like, it seems like you're like kind of all different people. It's like it's not.
We
like,
are.
You know what I mean?
It's funny. James and Aaron and Rachel are all different people.
Well, you know, I mean, you
I'm
could
the
tell,
Holy
you could tell
Spirit.
by when you talk to each other, you y'all come from different areas of the country, and
Right.
you could tell you probably are into different kinds of music and stuff. And I mean, so how'd y'all meet?
Well, Aaron and I played in another band for what, 4 years?
years.
4 years, and then just kind of, you know, decided, hey, we want to do something a little bit heavier. You know, I think we were talking kind of stoner rock meets a pop kind of vibe. So what were we calling it? Stop.
Stoner pop.
Stoner pop.
Stoner pop.
Stop.
Stop. So every time the crowd's going stop, stop, we go. They get
They
it.
get it.
They get it. They know what's
They
up.
totally get it.
Yep. So yeah, so Aaron and I kind of
That's
hooked up
funny.
and got that going, and then we went on Craigslist in the bear seeking bear section.
Nice.
Said you know, we need a good drummer. And
You found her.
And we found her. Yeah. I don't know what she was doing in there, but you know,
That's funny.
it worked out.
Yeah, like the Black Heart Saints guys. I don't know if you ever seen those or met those guys.
Mm-mm, haven't met
They're
them,
the
but
only band. They found all of its members on Grindr. So
There you go.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
you meet them, you'll understand why. All four of them. Just kidding. That's the way I introduce them when I introduce them. So
nice.
There you go.
I think they're endorsed by Grindr. So
there you
lots
go.
of leather and stuff. You
There
know,
you
they
go.
like all
Just
that kind
elephant
of stuff.
walk on stage.
Rob
you know.
Halfordish, you know, kind of
Nice,
thing like that.
Nice. Looking forward to that show.
Yeah, they're a cool bunch of guys. You're gonna love all those guys,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
They're so much fun. We just have a blast with that. I mean, this bill's gonna be so much fun because all three bands are animals. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put you guys into that category just yet. So
Trust me.
You don't
You
know
will.
us yet.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we love 333. We played with them before, like several times, and
Yeah.
you know, they're good friends and stuff. So we're totally looking forward to this.
so you guys like the stoner rock stuff?
To a degree.
Do you like that band Sasquatch?
I'm not familiar with Sasquatch.
Oh my God, you heard them?
I've heard
They're
them.
fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're from L.A.
Mhm.
Okay.
And to me they sound like a the beast is loose.
Rachel's all excited now.
I'm a,
There's
I'm
the
a dog
dog.
person.
Yeah, I love him to death, but he's like a 10-year-old pit bull baby.
That sounds right
Yeah.
up my alley.
Yeah, you're gonna love him to
Will,
death.
will you excuse me?
Yeah, excuse me for a little bit. No, but the Sasquatch thing, I found them on just by accident on YouTube, just fucking going through videos and shit. And I'm like, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
3-piece from California. They totally sound like old school, like the first couple 2-3 Black Sabbath albums, old
Nice.
bluesy
Oh, nice.
rock.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay.
They probably have maybe I think 5 albums out. Check them out, man. You really dig them. They're
cool.
awesome band.
Nice, very cool.
Awesome band.
But it's something very similar. Finding Red Fang and I mean, like the old, like the original Queens of the Stone Age album. It's like just
Yep.
that super chunk kind of
Yeah.
thing, and it's
Yeah.
like that's kind of the vibe that we were going for, and
Yeah,
we found that.
that's the best kind of stuff, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that's just a slamming, four to the floor kind of shit.
Mhm.
That's the stuff that I like.
Yep.
I would say for me in my top 3 bands, the original Ozzy era Black Sabbath is probably number 1.
It's classic shit. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to realize, man, the first Black Sabbath album, that's the Bible for so
Metal.
many
For metal,
Yeah.
for metal. Yeah, that's the
It's-
first
it's
one.
period, just for metal.
Yeah,
that's
that's.
like, just that's.
I actually listened to the whole thing I actually listened to the first 4 Sabbath albums. I go through these phases where I'll do like Zeppelin, I'll do Pink Floyd, I'll do Sabbath. The first like 2 Ozzy albums. Anything after the first 2 is kind of like a little hokey,
Right, fair enough.
Pretty.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't have to kind of elaborate any further on that, but I mean, it's still some good stuff. But
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath is the shit.
is it really?
Yeah, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. That album. Oh,
You know what's really funny? I swear to God on a Bible, I went and bought that CD. I think a week ago because they came out with all the remasters.
yeah.
And that was one that they had in the store, so I picked it up. So it's hard finding them all, but that's a great record.
Oh God.
If you read the liner notes on that album, they were saying that they didn't think that album was that good because you got to realize that the first I don't know how many Sabbath albums were done in such a short period of time.
Yes.
Right.
I
yeah.
mean, the first couple, 2, 3 were done in like a not even a year and a half.
yeah. Yeah.
So by the time that fourth one got recorded, they were burnt out on drugs and liquor and
Yeah.
whatever else. And
I heard Tony was having some bad writer's block too.
Yeah, that's what it says inside in the liner notes, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty good record. So I mean, but I guess if you're putting it up against like Paranoid or
Right.
Yeah.
Volume 4 or whatever, I mean, it's just I don't know, it's not going to really hold up. So what was I going to say? So for drummers, who's your drummers?
Well, I mean, I always come back to John Bonham, but
Everybody's a bottom guy.
yeah, well,
Bottom girls, bottom guys,
Bonham gal.
bottom gal. There you go. That'll work too. Bottom gal. I like that.
That's really dorky.
No, not at all.
No,
I
it's
mean,
totally dorky.
I like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Bill Ward's no slouch though, and I was a late coming to or discovering Sabbath actually, but yeah, dude, like, I mean, there for drummers, there's always the Keith Mooney's versus the Bonham kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a big Who fan, but Bonham wins in every category,
Yeah.
hands down.
I'll tell you that's the thing about the English drummers, and it's one thing that I think is missing in today's music. If you listen to a lot of those old English bands like the Who and even like, take a
Stones.
band like, well, that's okay. We'll put the Stones in there, but like even a band like Yes or something like that,
Oh,
or
yeah.
You're talking about language.
yeah, the drumming was so loose. Like even the Beatles stuff. I mean, the stuff that they were doing was so unorthodox and so it's so free, and it's just I mean, I don't think like when Keith Moon went to do a drum track, he ever played the same thing twice. I mean,
Yeah.
he just never did.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, Bonham was probably more more structured in what he did. But I mean, you look at like Ginger Baker,
Right.
Alan White, Bill Bruford,
Well,
all those English drummers. And if you listen to all those old records, I think the producers just kind of stayed in the background and just let them go. Now everything's so structured, and that's why there's so much so many machines on so many things these days, because there's not like really, they don't let the drummers go loose anymore. It's not the music today is just so not say pop orientated, but it's
Orchestrated.
stifled.
Yeah.
It's stifled.
Kind of a formulaic, kind
Yeah.
of structured.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Bruford was the most disciplined of the ones that you just named.
Yeah, there's just so many. I mean, there's so many. You got
Well,
like
She's a huge Crimson fan too.
Yeah.
yeah, all that stuff,
All that stuff.
all that stuff.
I
Yeah,
get
but you
excited.
Could go,
Yeah, I
know,
know.
but you go. I mean, there's
trust me, I do too.
and there's like
Old
drummers
Yes,
like
yeah.
Simon Phillips
Oh,
and
yeah.
Phil.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
like you take a guy like Phil Collins. Oh my God! I
Dude,
mean,
Yeah.
Don't
but-
get me
but- no,
going
but
on
like-
Collins,
but-
man.
but-
He's like one of my biggest influences.
yeah, but people kind of like they're like, oh, Phil Collins. Oh, yeah, he's that singer guy from Genesis or whatever. You
No.
don't even get the Genesis thing, but man, as a drummer, you're like, holy shit.
He's
Like,
the
yeah.
most underrated. He's one of
Yeah.
the most underrated
Yeah.
drummers in rock music. And his son
prog rock,
Nick
too.
is no slouch. Do you know that right now they're on tour, and like Leland Sklar is back on bass
I know-
and everything.
I know
and-
he's-
yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I didn't know about his son. So I know he was. I know Phil was back out on the road, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that he.
His son is playing drums
Oh,
on
son's-
their tour right now. Yeah.
So he doesn't have Chester Thompson with him.
Nope.
He's he's playing he's doing a Van Halen.
Yeah.
Bringing the sun
Yeah.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Wolfie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say this is better because Nick
yeah.
is legit. Yeah. Well, maybe Wolfie is too. What do I know?
He is,
don't know.
but
He's no Michael Anthony, but
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about him is it's like he's a drummer by trade, Wolfgang Van Halen.
Oh, really?
Oh, totally, yeah. So he didn't even know how to play bass, and I guess
Perfect.
he's got some good genes though, right?
yeah, well, yeah.
So, but they were saying that he learned how to play bass like in 6 months or something. It was like something crazy like that, and he learned all the Van Halen tunes and whatever, and and now he's out playing with was it Mark Tremonti? I think.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
in the Tremonti's band full time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
I mean, when you're Eddie Van Halen's kid, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I think it just kind of rubbed off on him or whatever.
That's like okay. The drummer
We could talk drums all night.
Here we go.
the drummer
Holy
from
Rosa.
from the Black Crowes, his name is escaping me right now, but when Shake Your Moneymaker came out, That guy was only playing drums for a couple of years, and the drumming on that album is really good, man.
Yeah.
It's really soulful. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people, a lot of the, not say best drummers, but for me, when a drummer, especially a person that doesn't take lessons, that gets out there and starts playing in a band and he's got his own style and his own thing going on, those are the best dudes you really listen to. Be like, this guy doesn't sound like anybody else.
Yeah.
Because I had a few friends that like went to Berkeley, went to PIT and all that shit, and they come out. No offense. No, what the problem is with those schools is everybody comes out sounding the same because they teach the same curriculum. And I had a buddy who went to Berkeley for 4 years. He's a monster drummer, but if you put him up against like a guy like Mike Mangini, Steve Smith, and all those guys, he sounds exactly like him because
well, those are all Berkeley guys.
that's all Berkeley guys. Yeah,
And Weckel. Yeah.
yeah. So you went to PIT?
No, I went to Berkeley.
You went to Berkeley?
Yeah.
Good for you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. She must be a killer.
She sounds just like Steve Smith.
But that's my guy.
On drums too.
Steve
Steve Smith,
Smith
is your guy?
is my number
Yeah,
one
he's
guy.
Fucking rad,
Oh,
man.
he's
Yeah. Big Journey fan. You know,
it's not that I'm a big Journey fan. I'm a big Steve Smith fan.
gotcha.
Yeah,
So, vital information.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
bunch of that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rad.
So I don't know.
Nice, dude.
He's playing. He's doing the Journey thing. I think he's done with it. I think now. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Unless they throw him a big suitcase full of money, which I think they're probably going to.
He and Todd Zuckerman are the two rock guys that can play with traditional grip and fucking kill it.
Yeah. Todd lives here in Austin. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I bumped into him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, the drummer from. There's a band in town called
hit him
LC
with my
Rocks.
car.
Yeah.
They're a cover band in town,
Yeah.
and Rob actually went and took a couple lessons from him
Right on.
over at. I guess he lives over in Westlake or something like that. And we actually had a drummers podcast here like about 3 or 4 days ago,
Oh.
and he was.
Oh, I
telling,
saw that 121.
What's that?
121 was the drummer podcast, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Why didn't I know about this? Kirk Covington lives here now too.
Who?
Kirk Covington?
Who's that?
Tribal Tech?
Oh, okay.
Dude.
Okay. Not
And
too
Pat Mastellato lives in Dripping Springs. Terry
Oh yeah,
Terry
everybody.
Bozzio.
Oh.
Bozio used to live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name from Aerosmith?
He used to live here.
Oh yeah, Joey Kramer.
actually-
He comes in town.
He
yeah.
actually he used
Yeah, I
to live
bumped
in
into him.
Georgetown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he
Yeah.
moved.
Doesn't Brad live here too? Brad
I don't
Whitford.
know. Yeah, but I used to run into
Somewhere up
to
north.
Joey
Yeah.
Kramer at HEB like all the time.
Yeah, he's got a coffee company now.
Those guys are
Well,
winding
of course
down.
he does.
Everybody, that's where the money
Drums
is.
to coffee.
I'll tell you, if you want to make some money, if you want a side business, like if say like do like Zach Wild, perfect example, right? He's got a monster coffee company. I think it's like Death Wish or something like that. It's like this shit. It's
Interesting.
yeah. It's got like crazy amounts of caffeine. It's got like warning labels on it. It's like if you.
I
you
hear
know,
that. I hear that varies from state to state. You can only have certain.
I don't
caffeine
know.
levels.
I mean, this stuff
Right.
that maybe who knows.
I don't know. I just made that up.
I used, yeah.
But yeah, but I'm telling you, the coffee companies are huge now. It's like all the rock stars all of a sudden got coffee companies. You know,
It
I
makes
don't know.
sense. It's kind of a natural union, I would say.
Coffee,
Fair.
and
Yeah.
Just caffeine of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
since they're not doing blow anymore, I mean, they all got to come up with something
Gotta
else.
have something. Yeah.
Better for the heart.
I don't
We'll
know,
see.
Dude,
and cheaper too, though.
yeah.
There's
No,
that.
coffee's good for you.
That's why I got like a little Keurig in the corner. That's why I get a
See?
little Keurig. I
There
got
you
a
go.
little, actually, it's funny when the
And the
drummers.
scotch. It's,
There
You
you
know, burn
go.
a downer. You know, so it evens out in the end.
I'm normal
need.
now. I'm
Yeah.
normal.
Oh my god! I know we could talk drummers all damn night because I
Yeah.
mean I have so many just favorite drummers for so many different reasons. But it was cool having that drummers podcast up there because we just like shot. I mean, because Xavier, was in Buck Cherry for 10 years, and we just talked all sorts of stuff. And
Nice.
I mean, he's my age, so we've been on the block and it was the other guys were kind of getting schooled a little bit about because he's just so knowledgeable about gear and touring and what it takes to be out there for 10 years. That's a hell of a lifestyle. It just is, So what made you want to go to Berkeley? Just to learn how to play better, or just that's a pretty cool school. It's a great school.
Yeah, it was fun. Matter of fact, if I was independently wealthy, I would be a professional student there.
Really?
Yeah. Well, my story for that is pretty. Let's see. I studied with a guy named Doug Morgan in Raleigh, North Carolina, when I was in high school, and he played with a guy. Well, he played with the Dixie Dregs for a little bit, and I was a huge
Rod
Rod
Morgenstein.
Morgenstein fan.
Yeah.
And I studied with Rod Morgenstein.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at Berkeley. And there was where I grew up in on Long Island. There's a studio called Tiki. There used to be a studio called Tiki Recording Studios that Alicia Keys bought.
I know you're going to mention one guy.
Well,
It's Long Island Drum Set. I know you're going to talk about.
no,
Okay,
actually. My dad's band used to record at Tiki Recording Studios, and Rod Morgenstein did his instructional video there, and I interned there as soon as I graduated from high school
cool.
in North Carolina. I moved back to New York and interned at the graphic design studio there, and Rod Morgenstein did a lot of work there, and I was a huge Rod Morgenstein fan.
Who isn't?
Yeah. So, but actually, it's just I'm kind of Forrest Gump, and I've stumbled upon a lot of things in my life. And
Hey, we
Ditto.
all have.
Yeah, ditto.
didn't even intend to go to college. Actually, never even took my SATs, and got into a conservatory first, where they said you can take your SATs while you're here, and I was like, cool. Actually, I'm going to get into this conservatory and then go to Berkeley, and never took my SATs. Got into Berkeley, graduated.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many years were you there?
At Berkeley.
Yeah.
3 years. I did 3 years at the conservatory and then transferred into 3 years at
Wow.
Berkeley and graduated.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's cool. So
You must be awesome then.
I
Are you
am not
are you
awesome.
fantastic?
No, I am not fantastic.
yep.
I do my best, and I'm still learning
You
every
do
day.
your best.
Yeah.
She's the most Canadian non-Canadian.
Most Canadian, not Canadian.
Yes.
We need like the opposite of a swear jar in our
There were-
rehearsals. It's just so many sorries going back. There's Canadian standoffs. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Jesus, guys.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Be a dick
Sorry.
once in a
I
while.
thought you were going to mention one guy, and I used to take lessons
Which
from.
guy?
Was Joe Franco.
Oh, dude. You know my grandpa's name is Joe Franco, by the way. I love Joe Franco, and I love Twisted Sister because I'm from Long Island. And those guys are local heroes. And Joe
Yeah, I
Franco's
grew up
dead.
with all that shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was,
me too.
That was. They were a little, just a little bit before my time.
Okay.
I mean, like a year
Well, wait.
before my
When
time.
did Stay Hungry come out? 84?
Yeah, but they were a Long Island band. They used to play Long Island, Connecticut,
Right.
and New Jersey, and Rhode Island, all that shit for like in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's
so
all before my time.
that was
Like when they blew up, I think it
that was before my
80s.
time because
Yeah.
I would say early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 16 when Stay Hungry came out, but I remember seeing. I mean, they were like a band that would, in the beginning, would open for a lot of bands.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
when they started doing their little rise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Franco wasn't in there. He was only in there for like, I think one album and one tour, and that was it.
Yeah, but he was in there for the good shit because he was there for
Not
Stay
really.
Hungry.
No, he wasn't there for Stay Hungry.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%. He was there for an album called Come Out. I think
Come Out and Play.
Love Is for Suckers. He did.
Oh.
And that was supposed to be a Dee Snider solo album. And what happened was with that band, the band was just about ready to fall apart. And they said, well, you owe us another record. So Joe came in and filled in for AJ. And the album just fucking, I don't even think it even charted. But I think the tour got canceled. So he was only in for a little bit.
Okay, that's interesting, actually.
But then they did a band afterwards called Widowmaker.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah, that
remember
was a killer
Widowmaker.
band,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they had a string of.
Yeah, because I ran it.
They had a Spinal Tap string of bad luck.
Yeah, because I ran into Joe when they played the Back Room.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been living here for a while." He's like, "Oh, you like it?" You know, so he's a super cool guy, great drummer too.
He's also dead.
No, AJ's dead,
Oh,
not Joe.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was.
Announced here first,
I
folks.
was like, hey, wait a minute! Whoa! Hey,
Breaking news,
whoa!
everybody.
Joe Franco's not dead. No, it's weird because AJ was playing with some local guys in Austin. They had this band called The Foundry,
Oh, that I don't know about.
and it was AJ. It was the bass player from Disturbed. All
yeah.
those guys are local now.
Yeah.
A singer friend of mine and a guitar player friend of mine had formed this band called The Foundry, and AJ would fly in to do shows. And so he did, I think he did a show like at Anderson Mill Pub or something. And then he went back on the road with Adrenaline Mob is when he died.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was one of my guys too back in the day. Are you already? Holy
Sorry, I've
moly!
been holding out for a
How
while.
much do you
to
weigh?
just
About
be-
85 pounds?
Yes,
Good
yes.
Lord.
Let's go with that. I weigh 85 pounds and I need another
she's like a
beer.
buck.
It's soaking
10.
wet.
I am 84
You're like Tommy Lee back in '81. Look at
and
you.
a half pounds.
Yep. Metric. It's metric.
I like
You look
I
like
like
a- you
this
look
show.
like-
Can I come back?
You look like Tommy Lee back in '81.
It's another good influence.
I'm just kidding.
From a from
That's
a,
one of my guys. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I grew up
yeah.
with all that shit. You know.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm fucking old. Doesn't suck getting old.
Me too.
You probably. I'm
why'd you
probably
look at
older.
me?
He looked at you.
Because
looked
I'm
right at you.
probably older
God
than you are.
dang.
So
Well,
I think
no,
I think
I'll
we might all
guarantee
be
that.
in the.
Huh?
I'll guarantee that.
that I'm older than you.
Yeah.
Okay. I got the
I'll
Ralph
allow it.
Macchio thing going on. That's what it is.
Me too.
Yeah.
I just
okay,
turned 50,
there's
so-
that, yeah.
Oh, you look
Oh,
good, dude.
wow.
You look good for
Yeah.
50.
Well,
yeah.
I saw that.
Oh, there you go. See, yeah. Fuck, I can't
Yeah.
give it away. Yeah, there you go.
Looking good, buddy.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's all those moisturizers and shit. That's what it is.
That's what
That'll
I
do it.
figured. Yeah.
So it's my
Olay.
lack of
Olay. No,
Yeah.
actually, it's the coconut stuff.
That's
like-
what I meant.
Olay, Olay. You know? So,
The
coconut stuff.
Almond Joy.
Count
Almond
on,
Joy.
take me away.
No, my girlfriend.
Almond
My
Joy.
girlfriend buys this stuff. It's like it's coconut.
Mounds.
Mounds.
Yeah, it's
Mounds.
fucking coconut mounds. Yeah,
Just mounds.
I got to rub the chocolate off before I rub it on my
Sometimes
face.
you feel like a nut. Sometimes you
you
feel
don't.
old.
Sometimes you feel old. No, it's like fucking raw coconut, like in a. And you could take it, you could fucking eat it, you know, use it as a moisturizer. I've been using it for like, I don't know, maybe
It's in
6
a-
months.
It's a hairy nutshell thing.
Pretty
It's
much,
like you
yeah.
Beat it.
Smack it around.
That's what I do with hairy nutshells.
Beat them.
I
Hairy
beat 'em.
nutshells.
Beat 'em.
Wow.
And we digress.
And we digress. It's all right, though. It's what all. This is entertainment. That's what we're here to entertain the people and plus get to know you guys. So, recording, what's going on? You guys are, I heard 3 things today. Tidbit. I was looking for stuff to like, kind of like listen to find out what you guys were sounding a little bit like. And I found 3 snippets of some songs today.
Yeah, we got 3 demos out, and we've talked about kind of moving forward with an EP at some point, but we figured it would make more sense to have a good audience first in order to kind of generate a little bit of hype so we could actually release. So that's right now we've got 3 demos just to kind of gain a little bit of interest from venues and from folks in the crowd, things like that. So
And other bands and stuff like that. It's
Right.
like, hey, you
Mhm.
know, this is us. What do you think? You know, kind of thing like that. So Yeah.
Getting out and playing does that too.
yeah,
A lot.
Yeah.
Especially in this town.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting because this is like a brand new project. Like we all kind of just
we started today.
we
Hey,
started
that'll work.
Yeah.
3 days ago.
it's brand new.
I'll tell you what, it's weird because every band in this town does it differently. I have a buddy, actually a couple buddies now, actually 3 buddies now that play in this band called Preachers of Hell County. It's like to me, it's a cross between Primus and Hank the Third.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a rockabilly kind of funky kind of thing. And it's one of my favorite bands in town right now. And how I heard about him was their ex-drummer was a friend of mine. And I always heard him say, yeah, I got to go to band rehearsal today. I have to go do this, I have to do that. So he calls me up. He says, hey, man, we're playing a gig over Hardtails, which is Georgetown over here. I'm like, cool. So I go there, and it's their CD release party, but it's their first gig. So they actually went and recorded a full CD,
Oh, wow.
full-length CD,
Wow.
and then started playing.
We
So
coulda-
there was
we coulda did that.
nothing. There was
Yeah.
nothing behind it.
Yeah.
So they just came out and boom, here we are, and
There you go.
yeah. So I fell in love with them right away. I'm like, this because they're so different, so fresh.
Right.
So I just called a bunch of people and said, hey man, if you guys needed some band, if you need a band, have these guys open up or do whatever. They're a great band,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're out there doing their thing and killing it because they're so different. It's just it's a weird thing.
Can you repeat the name?
They're called Preachers of Hell County.
All right.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, you probably dig it.
Nice.
They're really cool.
Cool.
So they got a new drummer now, and they're hitting it. So, but like I said, every band has a different thing. I mean, there's some bands have been out for like 10, 12 years without any kind of product. It's like, hey, we're gonna record our debut record or debut EP or whatever, and we've been around for 10 years. Like, what? You know. Then there's other bands that, put they go and record 3 albums in a row. I mean, in a span of a year, and release 3 songs at a time or 4 songs at a time. Everybody does everything so differently, and in a way, it's cool because it's all different. You know what I mean? It's something to learn from everybody.
I think like with rock, right? Like we're back to the kind of the frontier lands, because the major labels aren't really interested in guitar rock anymore. So we're kind of back to uncharted territory of doing things your own way. I mean, right? Like the major guys are signing hip hop acts and R&B acts and pop acts.
What the weird thing about it is, I mean,
yeah,
I don't even know what the big thing is now these days.
I don't know.
Because
Hip hop.
I think hip hop's been big for a while, but I don't think it's like, because I hear a lot of stuff on the, not to say radio, but like internet. When you go on like iTunes, the brand new releases,
right?
And I listen to like 15 seconds of it, I just turn it off. I'm like, I'm not into this. It's not my thing. And but you can't like really say, like in the 80s, you could say, okay, man, metal was the thing,
Right.
or 90s grunge was the thing. But now it's like there's not like really a thing. I mean, if you want to call hip hop a thing, I mean, hip hop's been around forever. I mean,
it's all kind of mishmash now, because
it's just
I mean, in the 80s, yes, you had metal, like, Metallica coming out, you had Megadeth and all those guys coming out, but also you had Michael Jackson, like the biggest guy in the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing. The 90s, you had grunge, you had, Pearl Jam and all those guys, but then you also had, the pop of like Hanson and crap. I think that
Hanson got signed up at South by, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll be there.
Bopping all way to the bank. That's what I say.
Well, there's that.
So are we in a good time or a bad time then?
I mean, but now it's getting to a point that like everything is just like mashing together, where you have country hip hop, or I mean, whatever is Hootie Darius is doing country. And
so is the Aaron Lewis guy from
from Stained. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a while.
Country record. Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
But it's like hip hop isn't like as, I mean, it's not on the outskirts. It's like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
The pop, along with pop, and along with like pop country, and it's like everything's just kind of mashed in together. That it. When you have something that's outlying, that's like, oh, wow, that's different,
Yeah, that's why.
And that's kind of what we're hoping to be. It's like kind of we're going to come around the side and like kick your ass from the back.
Yeah. Well, that's like, you take a guy like,
Which makes sense, but I mean, it's a little obvious, but.
And I think a perfect guy that kind of represents what's going on now, and you're going to laugh, but man, take Kid Rock's new record. But listen to it. There's so many different styles on it. He doesn't know where to go. He's got a rock tune. He's got a country tune. He's got a hip hop tune. He's got a hip hop country tune. He's got a.
But isn't it like the problem? It's like
I don't think he knows where to go. I think he's trying to keep his feet.
He doesn't have to, because the money's coming fucking in, whether he knows where to go or not.
Yeah, but
wherever he goes, he's
laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, because I was talking to, I don't know if you guys know the band Vallejo in town.
Oh, yeah. I played with those guys.
Yeah. AJ Vallejo was up here, and he just came out with a brand new solo album on Valentine's Day. And if you listen to that record, there's all different kinds of different styles on it. And I said to him, I said, the cool thing about this, except for like metal, there's not kind of any metal on it.
Right.
The album is called Love Songs for Dummies. So it's all about his, romantic relationship, in songs from the past 10 years, whatever. But there's so many different styles on it. I said there's something for everybody. So like with the Kid Rock thing, to me, I was like listening to it maybe like, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm like going, he's like trying to hit every demographic out there, because he's trying to please his old hip hop fans, his whole, what do you call it, rock rap fans, his Leonard Skinner people. I mean, he's trying to get it all.
Do you think that guy writes any of his own songs?
Who? Kid Rock?
Kid Rock.
Who knows? I mean, I'm sure he has outside writers, but I think he does a lot of himself.
I'm sure he did that.
Yeah.
Bing,
But he did sample a lot of stuff too. I mean, but that's what they did back in the day,
Right.
Yeah, but these days it's hard to pinpoint, because there's so many different kinds of styles of music. Whoever heard of like stoner rock? Stoner rock to me is something new, But you take rock and there's like 20 different kinds of rock now. Before it was like rock and roll, metal, and heavy metal or whatever. You had 3 or 4. Now it's like it's all over the place. You don't even know what.
Like pop rock, hard rock, metal, and then you get like really dark metal, and that was kind of like a thing.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, yeah, the whole stoner thing. But I mean, that whole stoner rock thing came out with. I mean, honestly, Black Sabbath was like the original kind of stoner rock thing, which obviously birthed metal.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, it's like groovy, heavy thing, and now all these guys are like grasping that this is
metal.
legitimate, and you don't have to do blazing kind of metal to do to grasp what these guys were getting, and trying to show the world like, dude, this is just like amazing music.
Yeah, I have a ton of metal freaks where I work. And we were sitting around bullshitting one day, and we're like, man, what? He goes, we talk about different genres, whatever. And one of them spotted out. He had a question. He goes, man, we got to talk about this. He goes, to you, what was the first band ever labeled to be heavy metal? And I'm like going, well, that's a good one right there. That was ever that the moniker for them was the first one to be heavy metal. I mean, and I'm thinking like, man, I don't know, Iron Maiden maybe.
They say that Steppenwolf had the very first heavy metal song because of distortion. Because I think
really,
yeah, Steppenwolf was
well, they had a song
Born
called
to Be Wild.
Born to Be Wild. That was
basically
heavy metal.
first-
Was in the one of the
first
lyrics.
Heavy metal
Yeah.
song. Yeah, Heavy Metal Thunder is in the lyrics. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know when it came out really.
I wouldn't consider that a metal song, but because like in the 80s when
it's hard rock.
Yeah, when Priest came out and Iron Maiden came out and
But Iron Maiden came out, what, 79 or
78.
78?
Yeah.
I mean, the first Iron Maiden and then Killers.
I think 80, 81, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. I mean, the stoner stuff, like, you had guys carrying that torch like Fu Manchu and
so the thing is, like, the first-
right?
Sleep.
When you have the
Sleep.
first Maiden albums, the first 2, Maiden and Killers,
Yeah, Paul
that was
Di'Anno.
almost like heavy punk with the first singer.
No, Paul Di'Anno.
Yeah. And then when it got into Number of the Beast and stuff, that's when it's like started getting like serious metal.
good point.
Yeah, so I threw out there. I said, I mean, to me, it was either because people like label like Led Zeppelin heavy metal. I said, man, I don't think that Zeppelin is metal. Everyone's like heavy blues rock or whatever. But I just threw out. I said, I think it's either probably gonna be Maiden or Judas Priest.
And not Sabbath?
Well, so I mean,
I don't
Sabbath
know.
is.
I think they were a catalyst. I wouldn't really consider them heavy metal.
No, it's like Sabbath is like the godfathers of metal.
Yeah, they're like.
But whether the music is or not, I would say probably not. It's really dark, hard rock. That's kind of my opinion. I'm probably gonna get crucified.
No, not at all.
As soon as I walk outside.
Well, because you think about it, right? And I was listening. I don't know if you heard today. If you're into like Judas Priest and all, but their new album is gonna fucking crush.
Really?
Oh
I've
my
not
Christ,
heard
dude!
that.
I'll tell you what.
Sad Wings of Destiny is a freaking amazing album, and when you get into like, not so far as like Turbo, but
Turbo was before
that.
Turbo was horrible.
Yeah.
But
British Steel,
Scott Travis still playing drums?
I was listening to the new stuff today, and then I listened to British Steel, the 30th anniversary, right after it. I'm like
Right.
going, man, I hate to say this, but this new album's gonna be better.
Really?
I'm not even kidding you. It's fucking
Wow.
phenomenal. And I only heard 3. The way they do now,
That's a pretty bold statement there.
it is a very bold statement. But the way that they recorded it and produced this thing, it's fucking mean. I'm telling you, I was like
Nice.
super impressed. I love Priest.
Will they tour it?
Yeah,
They'll tour
Yeah,
this
no,
album?
I think they're working on a tour right now.
they're working on a tour, but
I've seen like
one of the guitar players
Shit on
isn't
Facebook
playing.
or something like
Who's the one of the original guitar players? KK's not with him. Who's the other guy? God, I hate not knowing.
I don't know guitarists.
age.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that that guitar player has like some major health problems.
Yeah.
So he's bowing out. He's actually quitting the band, and they're bringing somebody else in. But they're going to be touring with it. So, what the hell is that dude's name? Fuck.
Something Downing? No.
No, it's
that's
KK,
KK
Downing.
Downing.
Yeah, KK. Yeah, he retired a while
Yeah.
back. You got to realize these guys are like 70 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, it's like for me, like the biggest.
Glenn Tipton.
Glenn Tipton.
Glenn
Yeah.
Tipton,
Yeah.
there
Good
he is.
job, dude.
There he
Yeah.
is.
There you go. So my biggest, like, just sad thing about metal and is of course then my brain goes blank because
It's all good.
I'm awesome that way.
What are you thinking of?
I'm
What are you
also
thinking
going
of?
blank.
I'll help you. I'll help you.
So-
Because we're old and we help people.
We're old.
We help each other when we're old.
We ain't that old, are we? Fucking old.
Old enough that
Old enough.
this
Old
is
enough.
a reality.
We can get away with it.
Yeah.
And, you know,
We can
get away with shit.
I hope I'm old enough that I can go around and like start screaming at people and it's like, oh, he's just old.
That's gonna be me. That's
That's-
gonna be the best shit ever. I'm
You
gonna-
got 5 years.
5. That's it.
Well, I mean that's when
I
AARP
got
comes
10.
in.
No, I already got my card.
Oh, you do?
Seriously?
Yeah, it came in before I hit 50. It came in like the week before I hit 50.
What? I thought it was 55.
Nope.
Was that?
No,
Keep
you'll
that
be getting
discount.
them.
Sweet. I'll get mine soon, I
You'll
guess.
get yours. Yeah, once you hit 50.
Not that soon, but
You got a
know,
bit.
I
You
got
got
a
a
little
bit.
bit.
A bit.
But young
Ang-
Angus's brother,
Oh,
Malcolm.
Malcolm. That's it. God dang it. That was sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dementia.
Absolutely.
Dementia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, they still want to tour that band. They still want to keep going.
Yeah.
There's nobody left.
But I
Dude.
mean, it's like, yeah, Brian had to quit because his
There's
voice,
nobody
his
left.
ear is gone. It's just,
There's a
it's just
problem
like
with the-
Cliff and Angus and the drummer. I can't remember.
The drummer putting a hit out on his wife, right?
that dude got like
Oh
arrested.
yeah, yeah. Right. He's like
Phil Rudd got like arrested for. I mean, it wasn't like.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing.
those British drummers, man, they got a lot of issues. I'll tell you.
He's Australian, isn't he?
Yeah, you're right. He is
Yeah.
Australian.
But dude,
It's like
Chris,
it's like evil British.
Chris Slade.
Yeah, he's no slouch.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, to get that gig.
Yeah.
But yeah. So they want to keep that band together. So basically, from what I understand, I think Axl Rose is going to come in and do the new,
Oh.
record.
I heard he
right?
was killing it, man.
I don't know. You know, that whole AC/DC thing
Yeah.
with him was, I think, first of all, okay, when you're playing stadiums and you only have like, at the time had, okay, so Cliff was still with him. Cliff quit.
Cliff quit?
Cliff, yeah, he retired.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't
Oh, yeah.
remember.
The bass
Wow.
player Cliff, yeah, he's gone. So basically, it was like the Angus Young show
Yeah.
with Brian Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that was it. So the deal was, once Brian left, it was the Angus show, and they're playing stadiums, and people are gonna get a little pissed off that, like, hey man, I'm paying $200 to come see AC/DC, and
See, a
it's not even
60-year-old kind of
and
trust,
it's
strut like a.
and it's
kid.
only Angus with
Right.
with a bunch of dudes I don't even know who it is.
That's not unique to them, though. Look at Slayer
Yeah.
right now.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
what they
but-
had to do,
Araya and
But-
That's
Kerry
why they're-
King, and that's it.
and that's why they're doing a goodbye tour.
Yeah.
You know?
But dude, this tour is sold out. Like they've
Oh, yeah.
booked more shows.
Right,
yeah.
but what's his name from Exodus has been playing with them for a while.
Bostiff.
Do what?
Bostiff.
yeah.
Paul Bostiff. The
No,
drummer.
No, the guitar player.
The other guy. Yeah. That
The other
From
guy.
Exodus.
Yeah.
From Exodus.
Oh wait, Bostiff is from Testament. Yeah.
He's played a
and
bunch
I,
of people.
I can't remember his name, but anyway, he was playing with them when Jeff was sick.
Yeah.
So he's been playing with them for
Yeah.
a while. So it's not quite.
I guess so.
I was
It's still
surpri-
the three. It's still those three guys have been kind of doing Slayer for at least like 8 years or something like that.
Right.
I was really surprised by the Slayer thing that they were going to call it quits. I was like, "What? Really?" I mean, that was a bummer. That's a bummer for a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
Slayer,
absolutely.
you know, I mean, who's fucking Anthrax next, and fucking,
Oh,
you know,
man, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I
they-
mean, the thing is that they got Joey back
yeah.
now, so you know, hopefully, I mean,
I don't know. They have to believe that Slayer is really. I mean, don't those guys do like, 5 years worth of farewell tours usually?
I think this is
that
the
would be
first
the
one.
Stones. That would be the Stones. They've been doing like
That would
50
be
years.
that would be
Kiss
Kiss.
and-
50
yeah,
years of
Kiss.
or
yeah.
Kiss, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going to happen here in the next I say it on a lot of podcasts. The next couple 2-3 years, fucking Aerosmith's going to be gone. Kiss is going to be gone. Stones will play forever. They're not going to win anywhere.
They're gonna outlive us all.
Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Fucking made that kind of money. I mean, shit.
Yeah, no.
I mean, there's no the only time the Stones are going to go away, and is when Charlie Watts says, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore." The band is done. They already said it. That's the only guy that they will not tour without is Charlie Watts.
I don't want to do this anymore until I learn how to hit the snare and the hi-hats at the same time.
Damn, she even knows that. Holy shit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. He made a lot of money doing it, though. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. There's
I
you know,
know, man.
what's really weird is because
Good
you got the guys that are like that yeah, it's like
That drives
Yeah.
me nuts, man.
it's a style though. I saw him, I saw him back in the 80s. He's a jazz drummer
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah.
And he had this, it was called the Charlie Watts
Yeah.
Quintet or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I can't remember what the fuck it was called. And
Jazz Odyssey.
Jazz Odyssey. The puppet show was on after him. But he slayed. It
Yeah.
was, I mean, but he was just all about, hey man, playing in the Stones ain't a bad gig,
Dude,
No.
I just. I mean,
Oh, I know.
he's fucking rad.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being Daryl Jones.
Yeah, he's making,
I mean,
He's not doing too bad.
he makes $1 million a tour.
$1 million a tour.
$1 million a tour. That's what he makes. I looked it up one time because I saw him up in Dallas. They played a couple, 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, man, I'm wondering what they pay these people that tour with them. And the one that was actually making the most money besides Daryl was it Bobby Keys, the saxophone player?
Oh yeah, he's dead now.
Yeah, he
yeah.
died, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was with him since yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he's fucking dead. And he actually died. He actually
No, no,
died.
I'm good, I'm good, I'm
He
good.
actually died right like 6 months before that show.
Oh, man.
So they did a whole thing. He's from Texas and yada yada, and
Yeah.
they did a
Right.
whole thing for him.
right.
But yeah, he got paid
Boatloads.
whether he was on the road or not. He was a full time employee.
He's on retainer.
No, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you call it? The bass player, he gets like $1 million a tour.
Wow.
I'd like to know what Joe Walsh makes from the Eagles.
How much he makes?
Yeah, because from what I heard,
I
like
don't know.
those guys are not so nice to the other dudes, like Glenn Fry and.
Well, there's, I
Well,
mean,
he's
there's only
dead,
Don
so
Henley now, and that's
They're
it.
Don
super
Henley.
not nice to
Well,
him.
yeah, Glenn Fry's dead now
Yeah,
too.
just-
But
Who else is dead, Rachel?
I'll tell you what.
I
Get 'em
would
all.
like to. I don't know
Debbie
how long
Downer.
we're doing this for, but I would like to name all the people that are dead.
Just
Rotten
These are all
Rachel.
the dead people. Oh, my
Rachel
God.
hears dead people.
Is it just with this sitting here? You're just
Yeah.
You're
It was
just feeling
funny, I
really
had a-
morbid.
They were real mean. The Eagles were real mean to the other guys, like to Timothy Schmidt and Joe Walsh. Like they.
But I mean, Joe Walsh was an Eagle.
I know, but and
Well, it was Don Henley and what's his name there?
Fry.
Yeah,
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
did it. They were like the grand
They-
poobahs, and then
they're
they
like
doled
Lars
everything
and
out.
they're like
Yeah.
Lars. What's his name there?
Lars and James.
Yeah, they're the
Ex-
same exact
exactly,
thing, same exact
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have one of the shirts
What's that?
that it should have been Lars?
No, I don't have one of those.
But-
Should have been Lars. What's that mean?
Wait,
It's
who-
a picture of Lars and Cliff.
that's fucking messed up. I never heard that. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's. It's,
But it should have been Lars.
it's- Yeah,
yeah. Rachel,
We
what
all
happened to Cliff, by the way?
He got smushed in a bus.
Oh man, that's fucked up.
which is
You wanna-
true. It's technically true.
I have this.
Technically
I have this
accurate.
Metallica story. I'm going to tell the story after we get off because I told it so many times on this podcast that people are just sick of hearing it. So, but
People
it's
are
a
just
great.
like shutting it off right now.
It's a great fucking story though. Oh my god.
yeah.
He got- he
We're
got
the Grim
smushed
Reaper.
by a bus.
And then there's the snort to that.
That's just the exclamation point right at the end.
Oh, it's terrible.
Hey, I wonder when they're gonna have their
Terrible.
farewell tour.
I was hoping this year, but
No, I don't. I see them
I mean,
guys
they're
going
touring.
forever.
They're gonna go forever.
Forever those.
Mm.
well, I mean, it depends on how many bass players they can find.
What do you
Well,
mean?
Well, I mean, they
Well-
got rid of Jason. Now they got
Jason
Robert.
quit. I think Robert's good.
Robert's
I think
been there for a long time. now.
Robert's
I
been
know,
like
I know.
10 years. Yeah, he's been there
I
for a
know,
long
yeah.
time. I think
I know.
Robert's in for the long haul, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because the whole thing about like trying to find a bass player. When they finally found Jason, it was like Les Claypool. I don't know if you remember the whole behind the
Yeah.
music
man.
thing. It's like this whole popping and slapping thing. It's like Robert Trujillo totally did that. His
I
whole
wanna,
career
Yeah.
before Metallica.
I want to live in that timeline where Les Claypool is the bassist of Metallica. I want that to happen.
pretty
so bad.
Didn't they say that he was too good or something? He goes,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's
I
like, oh, he's
mean-
too good. It's like, yeah, it's like, but Robert Trujillo is amazing.
Yeah.
He's an amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Everything from suicidal
Suicidal
tendencies,
tendencies.
infectious grooves.
Yeah.
It's like this guy blew me away. I was like,
Yeah, he's a great.
I tried playing that and was like, yeah, I give up. I just
Well, because I remember like he was in Black Label Society right before that.
yeah.
And I guess he was,
really? I did.
yeah,
Well, he did Ozzy's band too
he was in Ozzy's band. Yeah, he was in Ozzy's band.
for Ozfest, like Ozzy's solo
nice,
stuff.
nice,
yeah,
nice.
right.
That whole he was in there for a
Yeah.
little bit. He was but he left Ozzy to do. Wait, Jason was with Ozzy too.
Yeah,
Jason like went to Ozzy right after, like not say right after Metallica, but pretty close to that.
and then he did the Voivod stuff.
Yeah, the Voivod stuff, and then the
Oh, he did Voivod.
Yeah, and then he did like a solo.
He was
like
kind of
a-
weird thing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah, but he
Okay.
had, but the last band he was in was Black Label,
Mhm.
and then Metallica snatched him up, and that was the end of that fucking little journey.
Yeah.
It's like you get offered that gig, you don't turn it down. I mean, shit,
Right.
that's like it's like oh,
Well, he
It
got
was
he,
like
he got $1 million signing bonus just right off the bat.
Yeah,
just
I
like
know.
here's a check.
But they
Well,
were
it's like-
like, but we can take this away.
There's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Well, it's
we
like
own you
Mike.
now.
we can
Michael.
recoup this. We
Michael
have to work
Inez.
out.
You want to get smushed by a bus? Stay
Yeah.
on the good side.
It's like
Mikey Ness.
Yeah, when he got offered the job with Alice in Chains.
Yeah,
He was playing with Ozzy for the No More Tears, tour, stuff like that. No More Tours. It's like, hey, I've got this, and Ozzy's like, dude, you got to go for that. You got to totally do that.
Well, I mean,
which is cool. It's,
Ozzy's band is like Alice Cooper's band. People just come and go and go and go.
Right,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just that's just the way that they work those bands.
so I mean, when I heard years ago, it's 10 years ago, something like that, the Alice in Chains bass player died. It was like, oh, Mike Inez. And it was like, but no, it was like the guy before him
Yeah, it was the guy that did like the first
did
was
the
it
first one in
something
Dirt.
Star. I don't.
facelift.
So, yeah, Michael Starr or something like that.
Yeah,
Was
something
he
like
on
that.
facelift? Like before,
Yeah, he was
before-
on- yeah, he was on
very-
Facelift
the
and
very
Dirt.
First
Yeah.
two stuff.
He was
yeah.
Facelift and Dirt.
Yeah,
He did both of those.
Yeah, major heroin addict.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was on like Celebrity Heroin Addict or whatever.
Celebrity
rehab
heroin
with
addict.
Dr. Drew.
Yeah, Celebrity Fitness Club. What is it? Celebrity?
Then
what is it?
that's like
Celebrity
I
Drug
hate AMC. It's like the
Celebrity
celebrity
Drug
heroin.
Clinic. What the hell is it called?
Celebrity rehab.
Celebrity Rehab.
Dr.
Okay.
Drew.
Okay. That's what it was. Okay.
I don't know
With
anything
Dr.
about
Drew.
it.
That's what it was.
I've never seen
it
it
sounds
before.
better than mine though. Celebrity Heroin Addict.
It was on
Celebrity
Mondays,
Heroin Addict.
at 8 Central.
I think that's on Nick at
It
Night.
was right in between Flavor of Love and The Rock of Love with Brett
It
Michaels.
might have been actually.
Flavor of Love.
Oh no, it was on VH1.
It was on VH1 when they were
Nice.
cool. They're sort of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you gonna do?
I haven't seen any of these things in a long time.
What's that?
Cable
VH1.
TV. Yeah.
They
VH1,
don't do
MTV.
anything. I don't even turn on that shit anymore. It's just
Hey, there's a dog.
I told you he sounds like a vicious, mean mother, but he's not even close to,
Boo.
man. You
A ditto.
It's
he
really
must weigh like
water.
98
I'm just
pounds
gonna
now.
I'm just gonna go ahead and ditto that one. Just ring it in.
Clean out my cabinet here.
Well,
Gonna
that's
clean
the
out-
point,
I'm
right?
gonna clean out the
Alright.
liquor cabinet.
This dead air.
That's
Dead
not
air, guys.
I don't
Dead
worry about
air.
those
Should I
dead
do
air.
my
Dead
tap
air.
routine?
Ditto.
Yeah, you got a tap routine? How does that work?
No, did I ever tell you the one about
No, I ain't talking about all that.
Wait, is it or is it that?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Same
I
time.
really
What
think
kind of
you
tap?
guys should like start playing as many gigs as possible.
We
are
are
trying.
trying.
Seriously.
We really are.
You owe me a Coke.
Okay.
We said it at the same time. Yeah, I mean we've got
That works.
what 5, hopefully 6 gigs this month. Just traveling around. Just
Are you
doing-
playing over the Texas Mist?
Oh, we haven't been
No.
up there yet.
I'll hook you up.
There
I
is
know
like
the owner.
there's a big stoner jam coming up
a
there.
great
and there's
club.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
great
I've heard
club.
about it. Yeah,
Get you on a Bill Easy over there
cool.
because they got
That'd be
stuff
awesome.
going. They're the vibe of that joint. He's he's really trying to make it into like just a super cool rock metal club.
Sweet.
It's not.
Love it.
That's all it is meant for. Is to
Nice.
be a cool rock club. That's
Cool.
all it is. It's a little out there. It's near the airport and stuff. But man, I did my event over there. Just killer.
Close to them. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
We're down
Okay.
south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I mean,
But I'll tell you what, they got a nice stage. You can't beat the PA in that place.
Mm.
Oh,
The
sweet.
sound guy is awesome. They're working, they're working on their lights, upgrading everything in that place. But man, the sound system is like ridiculous. It's good. It's probably one of the best sound systems in any of the clubs in Austin.
That's
Right
awesome.
on.
nice.
So
Sweet.
when you go there, and what is another awesome thing about it, Jim that owns the place. If you say like you have like you're opening for a national in the place, he'll let you come in, and rehearse on the stage with the PA a couple 2-3 nights, to get used to
Oh,
the
sweet.
stage and everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, it's
he's
pretty rad.
doing a lot of different stuff there that's way different than a lot of clubs are doing it. So
We've been talking a lot about metal and other bands, but
Metal.
I gotta say,
Celine Dion. We're moving to
Celine
Celine.
Dion.
Celine Dion.
About time.
Taylor
Been waiting for
Swift.
this.
Crazy bitch.
But dude, I think it was just this summer that I met these two guys,
Yeah, it was
and it's been
June, I believe.
really like it was pretty. Yeah, June. It's pretty immediate that we got together, and it's like, fuck yeah, dude, this is good shit.
So James and I like hit it off immediately when we started jamming in our other band, and creatively and all all that, and
Sexually, it's just
Sexually.
The sexual
just
chemistry
across
was
the board.
there's-
amazing.
it's the
That's
tension.
good.
The tension is crazy.
It was amazing. And
Um,
intense.
It's that camper thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Anywho,
Okay.
so yeah. But the heavy. I mean, I'm into heavy music. I mean, I'm into all kinds of stuff, but I'm listen to a lot of heavy stuff, and it's what James was kind of like his vision of like let's do this thing. It totally was like, all right, yeah, this is gonna be sweet. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And when we started looking for drummers, and Rachel responded, we're like, cool, man, she's done some awesome things. Let's absolutely jam. And when we jammed the first time, it was like, oh, holy shit.
Yep.
This is beyond legit. This is like godsend kind of thing,
Well, I think I don't remember if we jammed first or if we met at the
No,
bar.
we
up the
met
street
at the
first.
bar first.
Yeah,
And
we
I
hung
just-
out first.
I just remember you gave us
ABGB.
like, hey, I just got to warn you guys that I hit pretty hard on the drums, and we went sold. Yes, that's what we need.
Well, I got to break into your conversation. I just got a text from Jim is watching. Said March 30th, Friday, we have a 8 p.m. spot open with 333 Chasing After Alice, Free Bleeder, Space Cushion if they want it.
There you go. So
Wanna play?
29th, we're doing what? Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we can make it back.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want it?
Yeah.
All right.
Done.
Can we do
DUN
that?
done. Love
Can we
to,
do that?
man.
Yeah.
We'll
Really
make
appreciate
we'll
it,
make
dude.
it happen, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's fucking
awesome.
awesome,
Okay.
That's
man.
sweet.
Amazing.
It's
I-
yours.
Okay, 30 is
There you
booked.
go.
So,
So we have our 6th show.
yeah.
It's like
That's
magic.
awesome.
See, you come up here, it's like magic. Boom.
Nice.
Dude, this whole thing has been like magic, quite honestly, because I was a little gun shy just from being a little burnt out, and I heard the stuff that James was writing, and I was like, this is cool. I want to try this out. And we talked, and I was like, these guys are cool. Like, I want to hear what these songs sound like. And then we got in the rehearsal room, and it was just like, I mean, it was immediate. It was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
good.
This is good. This is cool.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
he sent me some demos that were just guitar and vocals, right?
I think there were some drums in there. It was like me doing bongos on
Yeah.
like a guitar case.
Yeah,
That was
and it-
drums.
But
It's the
the
extent
thing
of my-
was,
my
so
talent
yeah,
there.
yeah. So he
Yeah.
sent me songs that he wrote with with guitar and vocals, and then he was like kind of like
Matthew
feeling out the groove.
McConaughey it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly what, just like that
all right.
translated exactly, and like, right? I know. Yeah. Like I heard it and I was like, I want to play this song real bad. Like I cannot wait to play this song. And we got together and played, and it was like, yeah,
this is
yeah.
this is legit.
This is the pocket.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Good deal.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
So.
we're totally stoked. And it's like the feedback that we're getting from shows. I mean, it's like our first 2 shows. So we've only had 2, and it's like, okay, yeah, this completely legitimizes everything that we've already felt about ourselves. And
How did you get hooked up with the Hanover show?
the keyboard player Joshua.
Oh, Josh
yeah.
Roush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I asked him, it's like, hey, do you have any shows, with 333 that we could, hook up with? And here's our CD, here's some demos, and just let me know. And he's like, dude, I totally dig it, and we have this show. Do you guys want to do it? And it's like, yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So, and like I said, James and I have played with 333 before, and they're like, love the guys. The guys are amazing and totally supportive of, the local scene and, musicians, and are just amazing guys. And so the fact that they're like, yeah, sight unseen, we want you guys. It's like, all right,
That's killer.
yeah, you guys are awesome.
That's the thing about Tony, the singer.
Yeah.
Um,
Tony's off. Yeah. Tony.
He puts he really tries to put like great bills together. That's why I love, kind of hanging with those guys and emceeing these events for him. Because I mean, there's always, it's like one bill is great, and then I mean, there's like no way he can top this bill. Next week he's got another bill coming. I'm like, damn, man, how you come up with all these fucking bills,
Right.
So when I did my event, I had to top everybody, and I had,
Right.
and that bill was crazy. But but that's what's cool about those guys, because they always want to like bring more bang for the buck,
Exactly.
And like plus, they're all great bands, and they're all great people. There's
Absolutely.
nothing bad about hanging with a bunch of great people and great bands. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so yeah. So actually, before you guys take off, I'll give you Jim's number, and you can
Sweet.
hook that up.
Yeah,
sounds
absolutely.
awesome.
But that's a killer bill right there. I don't know if you ever heard Chasing After Alice before.
That sounds
rings
familiar.
a bell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
me
does sound
too.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's March 30th, which is a Friday. So 8 p.m. slot. It's 333. Chasing After Alice, Free Bleeder, which is a great band.
Yeah.
Heard of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Space Cushion, Scotty MC and Space Cushion.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Scotty.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Scotty's
So
cool.
that's those guys.
Nice.
And so that's that. I'll be on there for that one. So that's Friday, March 30th. So I guess you guys are on it then.
Awesome.
Boom!
Word.
If you
Love
guys
it.
can get
Yeah.
back in time.
Word.
Yeah.
So were you guys in Oklahoma City or something?
Outside of it, Norman. Yeah, we're doing a
Norman.
gig in Norman.
Have you ever been to Norman?
I've probably been through it.
It's a great town, dude.
Yeah.
It's like there's a university there.
University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, that one.
One of them. Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of a large one. Yeah. No. It's
It's all a blur to me.
it's
So how did you get a gig up there?
we've played there before,
Okay.
and we actually played the venue before. It's the Red Brick Bar.
Yep.
And
sell pizza?
We
I don't know.
No.
It is a bit of a blur, to be honest.
Red
so.
Brick.
They
Don't
definitely
think
sell
Red Brick
beer,
has a
though.
pizza.
Yeah, they definitely sell beer. We became friends with this great ska band up there, an amazing ska band called the Big News, and they we have become really good friends. But we decided, hey, as we're looking at trying to tour, not just in Austin or like just regionally, but like let's move out of the state a little bit. Hey, we had a great experience here. Let's look it up. And they're like, sure, yeah, let's do the 29th. And I'm like, all right, we're going to do it. We're going to take off work on Thursday, head up to Norman, and now we're coming back and playing on the 30th, too.
So how
Yeah.
far of a drive is it there?
It's about 8 hours or so.
Something like
Oof.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. You can make it back in time.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. Oh, easy.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
easy.
be good. We'll be good.
Yeah, no problem at
You're
all.
gonna love that club, man. Texas Miss is an awesome place.
I've heard a lot about it, just never been. So yeah, I'm
yeah,
I'm looking
people.
forward
I
to it
mean,
now.
people kind of, like, oh man, it's too far out, da 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 da. But you know what? Who cares?
That's where the good places are nowadays. I mean, downtown is a bit
Downtown's a
unpredictable.
pain in the ass.
Exactly.
No offense
yeah.
to them, but you know.
Yeah, you know, it can be for sure. And I feel like, you know, this gig coming up at Hanover's. I mean, Hanover's is phenomenal. Always had a great time there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and Texas Mist, if it's anything like that too, it's gonna be great too. I mean, just all these ones on the outskirts, I just feel like are kind of the hidden gems that the locals go to a lot more.
Yeah.
Plus, it's right next to his topless bar, so I mean, you can't.
Oh,
Can't
dude,
knock that.
there you go. We were probably gonna be over there anyway, so it works out.
The land is like right next door to the landing
Oh,
strip.
okay.
So
I,
all right,
I just
yeah.
go there for the lunch.
go there for the lunch
There you go.
buffet. Lunch buffet.
Just read the articles.
Buffet. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, it's by the landing strip?
It's right next door.
That's easy.
You could if you have a good aim, you could take a rock and throw it from the Texas Mist and hit the landing strip.
That's
Sounds like a
piece of
challenge.
cake.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. If you have good aim,
If you have good aim.
Oh, not the rock part. Okay.
I haven't been in that joint in a long time, so I don't know what it's like. Or you know,
I've never been.
I used to go there every once in a great while.
I've
The funny thing is
driven
that when you
past.
fly into Austin, you can be like, oh,
Yeah,
the
it's
landing strip.
it's weird because you'll be
You can
you'll
see
be,
it.
You'll be sitting outside. Jim has like a back area, some picnic tables back there, and these planes are coming down. You could see the people waving
Yeah,
to you.
I
That's how
know.
low they are.
I know.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, holy shit!
Nice.
Yeah, the landing. That's why they call it the landing strip next door. Yeah,
Indeed.
but
that's why.
that's what, yeah.
Oh.
It wasn't the other land. Well, it
The
could
more
be
you
the
know.
landing strip.
Fucking wicked smart.
Stable genius over here.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
That's you.
Wicked smart. Yeah.
It could
okay.
go. It could go either way, or it could go both ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
what do they call that? Double, not a double meaning. what is it?
Dumb. Double entendre.
There you
Double
go. That's
entendre.
what I was looking for. I wouldn't have guessed that
Stupid.
either. Stupid. But the cool thing about the Texas is right, free parking.
Oh.
So you
Oh.
don't have to go out. You have,
That's
you have a
nice.
big monster parking lot out front
There
of the
you go.
joint. You're gonna love the PA. I'm telling you, the PA is
Mm.
probably one of the baddest motherfuckers in
Nice.
town. It is big and loud.
I like big paws.
Yeah. Just,
Well, we're not big, but we're super loud.
yeah. Well, it's a loud PA. It's like it reminds me like
That's,
if,
that's what we need.
if you
Awesome.
remember the old like back room PA,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
like
nice.
that.
Nice.
that kind of thing. But he's put a lot of money to that place, and man, he's I'm not saying one of the only club owners in town, but he's one of them that's really into the scene. And I mean, he has stuff
That's
there like
awesome.
almost every night of the week.
Nice.
And you know, with my event, I wanted to do some crazy shit, you know.
Right.
And we did the first, you know, the first CobraCast Slamboree thing. We're actually it's going to be a yearly event now. So it was so successful this year.
Nice.
He every idea I threw at him, he was like, "Man, let's do it, you know." And we had a great day. So
Nice.
9 bands started at 2, went till like midnight.
That's awesome.
Everybody got 45 minutes. It was
Nice.
fucking-
There you go.
I was dead. I was so dead. I was so dead. Yeah, it was a crazy night.
Cool.
So how many songs? How many tunes you got complete now?
23.
Plus or
That's a
minus,
lot, 23.
like
We're a
18.
punk band. They're all a
And
minute.
Yeah.
they all fit in a 30-minute set
Yep.
Yeah, with a couple covers.
with a couple covers.
Yeah,
We have about 8 to 10 songs.
like 8 to 10. Yeah,
a
that
good
sounds
set
about
though,
right.
right?
Mhm.
It's a
Wait.
good 45.
We have 8 to 13 songs.
8 to 13.
I think that's
a little
still
bit of
that
a
range of
stretch.
8 to 40 songs.
8 to 40
you know,
songs.
Still in that range.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are doing some covers?
We might throw a cover in there or two.
What kind of covers you got? Some cool
Oh,
covers?
you know.
Jesse's Girl?
Jesse's
Yeah,
Girl.
Jesse's
Oh,
Girl.
Dude.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
a
I'll
little
be
bit
there
of
for that.
Jackson Brown.
Dude, we shooting our
And,
wad over here,
uh,
spoiling
Don't
Jesse's
Stop
Girl.
Believing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that
Don't
one?
stop.
I like
Yeah.
that's a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
A little bit of Love
there
That
you
Muddy
go.
Water.
You give love a bad name?
Oh, yeah.
like
A
that
little
one?
Bon Jovi.
There goes half our set, guys. Come on, what are you doing? We got to keep some
You're
surprise.
kind of killing our surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of those songs. I'm just saying.
A little bit of Pour Some Sugar on Me.
There's another one. Yeah, that's another
There
one.
you go. There you go.
I did that racket for a long time.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's tough.
It is, but it's good money.
Oh yeah.
I did that up in the
There's
bean,
not- I
up
mean,
in the
you know,
Beantown.
You know, it's weird with doing this because I have original bands that come up. I have cover bands that come up. I have tribute bands that come up. And they all have a different opinion. I was like really against the cover band thing for a long time. But
I was too.
well,
I
no,
was
but no,
too,
let
actually.
me explain the rest of it. So when I first started doing this, it was like, it's all about the original thing, but then you hear people's opinions on why they do it, and it all makes sense. It's like not everybody wants to write original material. Not everybody wants to be in a cover band. Not everybody, wants to write original songs and try to get that record deal. You know what I mean? Everybody's different.
They just want to go out and have a good time,
And that's what, and I have a lot of close friends, like really good friends that are in cover bands, and my opinion changed drastically just having them up here for a couple, 2-3 hours. And, just talking to them, say, hey, man, I get it,
Well, dude, like as a drummer, and I said this the other night, like the worst night playing music beats the best day, like sitting at my day job. So, like for me, when I was doing the cover band stuff, like it wasn't really necessarily the material that's close to my heart, but I got to play drums. You know what I mean? So even though I'm playing songs that I'm not crazy about, I'm playing drums, dude. It really beats like fucking taping up boxes and going to UPS and you know what I mean? Like, so that's always been
I really like taping boxes.
I mean,
Taping
it's got
boxes
its,
is cool
the
shit.
tape gun, having control over
it's
that.
like
That's
being so close
You
to
don't have like
sharp
a,
objects.
a machine that does that? You know machines over there? What's the deal with
no,
that?
I do that myself, man. Fuck,
Really?
yeah, fuck
Wow,
yeah. I
awesome.
fucking do that myself,
No,
kid. That's what I do.
You realize that was you put on your W-2 at the end of the year?
Yeah,
Box
fucking
taper.
box taper.
Taper.
Tape.
Fucking talking a FedEx, kid.
Hey, you're not that one that delivers the shit and
I
takes
deliver
it,
that shit.
take it, throw it over the fence. You ever seen those?
I throw it over
Yeah.
the fence. I kick it down the fucking
Trying to
alleyway
pull some
to
jerky
the.
boy shit out over here.
Yeah.
Oh
no,
yeah. Fucking
Phil
I'm
Rizzo.
Frank Rizzo. I can't see my eyes. My eyes is killing me. I'm Frank Rizzo.
I'll come down there.
Jerky boys. Dude, you are talking my language if you know.
I
if
got
you know
all
Jerky
those on
Boys.
CD. I got them all on CD.
Sweet.
All of them. Except for the first one.
I
was
listened
borrowed,
to
never got it
that.
back.
I listened to that in college.
Me
like,
too.
The entire,
Oh
yeah.
my
Me
god,
too,
that was
man.
some funny shit.
Frank Rizzo, my eyes. I can't
No,
see
that
it.
was
Watch
the-
your bench.
That
I want
was
your
Ira.
bench.
I'm coming down there, sizzle chest.
Yeah,
I bring
350.
I bring my fucking tools down there. I'll hook you up. It's up there, Flapjack. Yeah. They should have done done a whole album with the Rizzo character because
Oh
some of
my
them I didn't
God.
really get. It was
Frank Rizzo.
Right.
Do
Soul.
you know about Jerky Boys?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit about
Man,
him.
that was really funny.
Soul.
Saul?
Soul.
Wait, was Saul what?
fell down the stairs.
What was
which is fucked up. Was the two of those guys? It was I don't remember the names. It was like Johnny and Khabib or Cabal or whatever the fuck their names were, but something happened where the two of them got into like some big squabble. And they broke the group up. Or I call it a group or whatever you want to call it. And
Pair.
yeah, so they stopped doing the telephone calls or whatever. But what the hell was the story? They were fighting over the name. So they were fighting over the name, and then it was like it got to a point where they were just spending so much money on legal bills, and they never could get it back together.
Right.
Now it's such a thing where if they did it anyways, I think what
it
killed
wouldn't be as good.
what killed
Yeah.
them was the goddamn
Right.
movie they put out. That
Yeah.
just fucked everything all
Oh,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Kids in the Hall. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
But-
guys are,
Brain
but they're,
candy?
but the thing is, they're still brilliant.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
see them at the theater, and they're still brilliant.
Yeah, that's true.
And thank you, Canadians.
Mystery Science
Fucking
Theater
Bob and Doug
3000.
McKenzie.
Yeah.
I think they rebooted that too.
They did.
But
they did.
Mystery Science
And-
Theater used to be really good too.
Love the dog.
Love the dog.
That
I
Told
haven't
you.
met the
Dude.
dog
Told
yet.
you. Told
I
you.
got. I gotta go,
that
man.
guy-
I'm sorry. I gotta
No,
go.
no.
He'll
I
be out there. You're not going anywhere.
is so sweet.
I know, isn't he?
So sweet. Is like
Yeah.
wagging his
That
tail with
dog
like a
is-
little piece of rawhide. Like,
Mhm.
hey,
Yeah.
look at me.
It was funny. We had to take him in for an exam or something, or my fiance did, and they gave him like this little rawhide chew thing, and he doesn't chew it; he just carries it around.
Oh, is that
So,
what?
so he just walks around. He's had it for like 2 weeks,
That's cute.
and he just walks around. He's got this thing in his mouth, and
This thing.
he'll take it outside, right?
Look what I got.
So he took it outside like the other day and just dropped it in the yard. Then he's inside, he's crying. What the fuck? I mean, you hungry? Nope. Gotta go outside. He goes outside. He gets the little thing and the rawhide, and he comes back and hits the door and comes back in. He went the rawhide.
I got
it's
a pit
not a
mix
chew toy.
too.
It's not.
Yeah, he's a full on pit,
full
but
pit.
he's a full pit, but he's like the biggest baby. I mean, those dogs
he's-
get such a bad rap, and it's like
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah. He's like
He's like right outside the door.
probably
well, he
he's probably
is
just crying.
actually. Yeah, but he's kind of like oh man, yeah. Me and my memory, the bull terrier from Miller Lite.
Oh, really? Oh, he's white.
He's white
Yeah, he's white.
Oh,
with
okay,
black
cool.
spots.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty dog.
Yeah, he's almost 11. So
Wow.
yeah,
He's a senior.
Spuds McKenzie.
Spud
God.
McKenzie.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's a little. It's gonna be a little rough. Yeah, that he's. I'll tell you, I've had a lot of dogs in my. That's actually Crystal's dog, and I've had a lot of dogs over my time as being on this earth for 50 years, and it's probably the best dog I've ever had.
Nice.
He's a great dog. So
Oh,
hey, you come up tonight? You got a gig?
that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do up
I
here.
mean-
We connect people.
I mean,
We do things.
Thank you anyway for having
Oh,
us.
no,
I mean,
not a
this
problem.
is
Yeah.
amazing.
This has been fun because, like
Absolutely.
I said, it's sort of like a welcome to the family kind of a thing because I want to try to get everybody that's part of the scene up here, and not leave anybody out. And
Right.
like I said, we're up in the 120 some odd episodes now, and it's like I try to. And when I was talking to Tony about it, I said, "Man," I said, who is this group? I've never heard of them. He goes, "You get them on the podcast." I'm like, "Okay, let's look it up." Just do it like that. So
That's
yeah, I
that's
mean-
rad.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and so, I absolutely appreciate that. It was last Wednesday that you asked us, or before that, you
Yeah,
asked us
yeah.
to be on last Wednesday. I was like, totally want to do this, but our first gig is that
I know. yeah, you were
very
telling
next
me.
night.
Yeah. You said you rehearse on Mondays and Wednesdays.
we do. But
Yeah.
but it that was special in that it was our very first gig, and we just wanted to be like super
Just
tight.
extra
you know?
Oh, of
Polished,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
Extra
Of course,
polished.
you gotta get those
So,
rehearsals in.
But I mean, if you ever want us back, man, we're here.
Not a problem. You guys will definitely be back. But my thing with this is, I told you, I just had a mind blank right there when I just said that.
That never happens to me.
I've
But
been doing
no,
that all night.
But
so.
but for me, I mean, this is like I just have so much fun doing this, and you getting to hang with everybody, and like
Right.
so. The thing is, you go to a bar, and you're watching bands and stuff, and if I saw you out, I would probably talk to you for 30 seconds, and because you're bouncing around talking to everybody and trying to just spend your time with your significant other or whatever you got going on, and this kind of thing is cool because, especially for you guys, you're a brand new band coming out. People are going to see this, hopefully see this, going to hear the podcast. And hey, let's go check them out because they got it's a brand new band, got a little bit of buzz behind them. They're playing with 3 fucking murderer bands.
Yep.
And I mean, that's the thing too, is like, if you're going to open up that show, make sure you got your shit together because,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was
absolutely.
like, and I love, a good Roger Inc., Skunk and those guys, killer band. Blackheart Saints, another killer band, and then there's 333, which I don't have to even talk
Right.
to you about. Tony Park and those guys,
But
so-
then we get a gig right off the bat from
Yeah, they're-
being here.
and
So-
Texas Miss is an awesome club. Just great people, man. That's what we do up here. It's like we just hook people up and
That is the great part about Austin too. Is like I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the big music cities that I've encountered have been very kind of cutthroat and competitive, and Austin is just such a good nurturing like networking culture here.
Yeah.
Like right off the
Right.
bat, everybody's looking to help each other out,
Absolutely.
kind of work together, find good bands to work with. Like it's tremendous.
I'm sure there's some of that going on still. I mean,
There is.
there's always gonna be
There is,
that
but
way.
but the bands that we have encountered and the bands that we are, I mean, of course, the bands that we become friends with are the ones that are the nurturing, the ones that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
the ones that are like, hey, you want to play a show? Come play with us. And they're like, hey, you want to play a show? Come play with us. It's like we give and take, and I think it's just an amazing just community.
It's weird because when I first moved here, it was an all original scene. It's like you couldn't even get a gig in a cover band in this town,
Right.
at all. There was like 1 or 2 here and there that would play like the little college clubs or whatever.
Right.
So if you didn't play original music, you couldn't get a gig. But then it turned into a thing where, okay, it slowly rolled into the cover scene, and the cover scene started taking over. Some originals still here and there,
Yeah.
but it was more like acoustic kind of acoustic original stuff. Wouldn't really not too many hard rock bands. Then it turned into like this tribute thing. You know, the tributes were out there. They still are.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. They
But
are.
then the like, and with that, everybody was doing the cover the cover scene and the tribute scene was slowly working on their own little projects, original projects. So now there's like so many original bands,
Right.
and I have so many. I mean, all the bands that usually come up are originals.
Yeah.
Except the couple covers here and there, but I mean, it's killer because everybody brings me up a CD or something, and it's like I got so much like, and it's everything that I think. You know, you see people, you meet them for the first time, and you think they're gonna sound like this. I'll tell you, a perfect example of this. I had this band called Free Bleeder came up here, and I didn't ever met them. You know, I heard about them, never really heard their stuff,
Right.
and had a great podcast with the guys. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, this CD is probably gonna be horrible or whatever, right? And I put it in, it was fucking phenomenal. I mean, it's like holy shit, these guys are good. I mean, and every band that comes up here is fucking great. And it's like, you know, not every band needs to go into a studio that costs $100 or $200 an hour. The stuff that they're doing out of their houses now,
Right.
with computers, you know, with the programs, and it's like phenomenal shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like I said, you know, this year for some weird reason is I just really see the scene. Everybody's really just upping their game this year,
Good.
which is fucking
Good.
great. You
That's
know,
awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I agree with that, man. Like, down with the major label dinosaurs, dude. Like, there's so much that can be done on our own, and
Unless they want to give us millions of dollars.
I don't.
No, they're not gonna. So like,
I'll
we can
take tens
fucking
of
do this shit
dollars. That's
ourselves.
fine.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah.
Hundreds?
yeah.
I tell you, I think there's a lot of bands that don't even want to go for that major record
We
deal
don't.
anymore because
no.
You don't
Yeah,
need it nowadays.
there is none.
With the
It's a
independent scene,
dinosaur.
the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
yeah, you know, because you take a guy. I mean, like, you know, Tony was telling me his story with Push Monkey, or AJ was telling me his story with Vallejo about all the stuff that they went through. I mean, you know, AJ was telling me, he goes, I would submit 10 songs, 10 fucking great singles, 10 great killer songs, and the record company would just like say, no, we don't want that. No, that's not gonna work. It's no good. You know, it's like,
Right.
what the fuck? Why am I even bothering?
Yep.
Or he was saying something about he had the, I don't know if it was a logo or something, or he had to go through like 10 people at a record company to get it approved, and a couple of them wouldn't approve it, and he's like, it's a fucking logo, you know what I mean? It was like,
Bureaucracy.
yeah. So
Yep.
so now, I mean, you take the whole Vallejo crew, and they're just fucking kicking ass because they're doing their own thing with 512 Studios, and
Right.
you know what I mean? It's just,
That's why these guys right here, I was on board 100%
yeah.
from the get go, because these guys were like, we're doing this ourselves, and we're equal parts, and everybody counts, and
Yeah. Everybody,
I
you
was
know,
really stoked on that.
and it's like the community is cool because, like, you know, I got my thing up here, down here, up. What did I just say?
Up here, down here.
Up here, down here. You know, I got my thing up here that I'm doing. You know, you got Dave Pruitt, of course, with Dave TV
Right.
and
Yep.
Capsize and Raw Time and all that stuff, doing a killer job. You know, him and Nathan over there.
512 Studios.
512 Studios. I mean, you got Johnny Gotti's podcast. You know,
Oh, yeah.
all those. You know, and there's so much cool stuff going on. You know,
Absolutely.
we don't need the big record labels and the big TV stations and, you know, the networks, and we could do shit by ourselves,
Yeah,
and that's what we're
absolutely.
doing. So,
That's awesome. It's
you know,
homegrown.
homegrown, and then there's nobody telling you, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, and you know, because with this, I do what the fuck I want. I mean, it's just the bottom line,
Exactly.
you know, and I know it's only going to hit a certain point because there's going to be, you know, that point where everybody's telling me, well, you need to get some fucking sponsors. You need to get some big sponsors, some money sponsors. But, you know, the problem is when you start putting that in the mix, it's like
Then
all
somebody
the,
else is taking control.
they taking control, and then it's, you know, there's no cursing, and then there's like, you know, it's going to be whatever it's going to turn into. And I don't want it to do that. So.
That language does not adhere to the same values that Pampers.
No talking about getting smashed by buses, Rachel.
I like being smushed by a bus.
I don't know, man. That was
Is
a
that a
tough one right
euphemism?
there.
I said smushed. So smushed is like
It's
really,
smushed, not smashed.
Yeah.
Smushed. That's
Smushed.
some
It's
Boston.
not crushed. It's just like squeezed a
Smushed.
little
Oh,
hard.
man.
Just the
Squishy
gentle
Did he get?
ones.
I don't know. Did it fall on top of him?
Yeah.
He was inside, and it kind of like
he
I thought he got thrown.
he
no?
got thrown and then smushed.
Ooh.
I mean, I think I don't know. I wasn't there, but
She's an expert.
that's what I envisioned.
she was filming in
Oh
where
my
is it,
God,
Denmark
was
or
a
something
tough
like
one,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Man, I thought it was going to be really hard to talk for this long, but it's really easy.
You know what's really funny is I remember.
okay.
I don't know if you do you know Dave Pruitt at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know
Oh
him,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know
No.
Dave
No.
Pruitt?
We I mean, I'm sure you've met him before.
I don't know if
before,
I
Great
know
dude.
of him. I don't know that I've ever met him.
He filmed one of like our first shows when
That's another thing.
Another
Dave
band,
TV and Dave TV's going too.
Yeah.
We can try to get on there. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Sunday at 5:00.
Love us some Dave TV.
Yeah. I pimp Dave TV every time I can. So I missed. It was weird because I had the Drummers podcast this week at the time that Dave TV was on. So I guess Nathan and Dancer were on, and I missed that one. So Dancer was Nathan's old band, like in the '80s, late '80s, early '90s, I guess. Hopefully, I got the times right because. Fuck.
I'm not that old,
What are you
man.
talking about, man? Yeah, anyways, I got them coming up here. I haven't nailed the date down with them, but I threw it towards Nathan. He was going to talk to the guys. And but anyways, get back to talking about how you to talk for a couple hours. I was, the long but short version of the Dave TV story about this. Dave started watching this, on Facebook Live or whatever it was, and I remember calling him up or texting him or Facebook and saying, "Hey man, why don't you come up and do it?" And he's like, "Man," I go, "I'm not going to do it. I can't come up there and talk for 2 hours and it's not my thing." Because Dave's thing is more about he's in the background. He's more about promoting bands and it's all about the bands, not him.
kind of filming and taking some photos.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey,
that's
these
his-
guys are awesome. Yeah.
That's his deal. So
Yeah.
finally, I don't remember who was up here, and it was a couple months he was watching pretty much every episode. He'd pop up, and finally I got him up here, and him and Nathan come up, and we did. It was like 3.5, 3:45.
Wow.
It was like it was a lot. But we had the best fucking time. It was a Saturday afternoon. We fucking just went, and he actually came up
Just go.
again before Dave Fest. And we did
Nice.
another 3.5 hours, or it was. I think
No,
Dana was with him. That
so
time.
honestly, when you're like, oh yeah, hey, we're gonna do this podcast, like, this is like 2.5 hours. Like, oh,
I
what are
usually
we
try
gonna
about
talk about?
two-ish.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, what are we gonna talk about? Like,
Yeah, we got 3
Oh.
demo songs online.
yeah, we played 2 shows.
Yeah.
What are we
I
gonna
g-
talk about? It's like, oh, well, this is easy,
Well, that's the
Yeah.
whole thing about it. It's very loose.
just conversational. It's like,
that's all. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about, though.
Historically, I don't say a word too. This is
What
pretty
you walked
good.
in here like
Um,
you're just rolling
that's
off.
But you're
completely
like
bullshit.
jamming the
Are you
shit that
seeing
I'm
these
into.
metal lights over here? That's fuel
Well-
for the fire right
well,
there, my
one,
friend.
but that's completely bullshit because she's a.
I know
When
on
she-
our
when she
own,
wa-
on our own. But usually for this stuff, like I don't say a
Oh,
word.
fair
But this,
enough,
like
fair
the
enough.
subject matter has been
when
rad.
she
Yeah.
walked in, I mean, it was like, okay, I got a good one here. I got a fish on the
Loose
I
cannon.
got
I can yap.
I got a fish on the hook here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk drummers all fucking day.
I
long.
know, man.
Yeah,
That's
'cause-
really
yeah,
exciting.
'cause
I really
uh,
like it.
I grew up with just I was a drummer nerd. I read every modern drummer. I listened to every
Nice.
fucking album I get my hands on, and
You know,
then I
that's
started
kind of-
taking lessons and started being in bands and started to meet people that were actually not say famous drummers, but famous in our scene. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
that led
yeah.
to this, and that led to that, and
Well, it's kind of me
You
too
know?
because as a bass player, I have to be one with the drummer.
Yeah.
So drummers were absolutely some of my favorite musicians, other than bass players.
yeah.
Like Jeff
Bass
Porcaro,
players. For
Jeff
me.
Porcaro from Toto. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
just amazing, of course.
He died in a fertilizer accident.
Ru-
Right?
No,
Rush
no,
Rush
he
was
was a
the
cokehead and he was mowing the
No,
lawn and
that
he
was-
fucking
yeah,
passed
yeah.
out and died.
oh
No,
fair
that
enough.
was a
There's
fertilizer.
that.
No, seriously, that's what that whole thing was
Yeah,
about.
oh, yeah.
It's a
True.
fertilizer.
I know about this.
But I was like, so Rush was the band that got me into playing. Bass. I was always kind of a musician, but of course, great drummer. But
He's
getting into-
terrible.
Yes,
Terrible.
Neil Peart,
That
six-
guy,
6 out
that
of
guy
10.
gets by.
awful. I would say 4 out of 10.
Overrated.
Yeah, he's Ringo, Neil Peart.
Charlie
People
Watts.
diss on him. I don't know why people diss on Neil
Who,
Peart.
Ringo? Oh,
Neil
Neil
Peart.
Peart.
Ringo or
Who
Neil?
disses on Neil Peart? That guy's a
There's
legend,
people.
man.
there
There's
are
people that do
What?
that diss on him.
It's
Professor.
no, it's all about. It's because one could say he overplays.
Is it too late? Is it too late?
I don't. I think he plays for. I think he plays for the band.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
I've
that's
never
the
heard a
thing.
rush on and gone, oh, that doesn't fit
Dude,
the
he
song.
writes,
I mean,
and he
that's-
writes like all the lyrics,
And
and,
he
like,
does all
dude,
the
he's like the
lyrics.
Yeah.
architect of that shit.
And so does.
And-
And so
oh.
does. So does.
That's
There's
a
a
rather
special one.
large one.
So does
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Thomas
Drinking.
Bach.
That's a.
How do they grow? You have a magic.
He's got the magic
refrigerator.
bean.
Just wait till you see the
you
next
came
one.
up here, you got a gig, and you got a bigger beer. Look at
There
that.
you
See, it's
go.
the
I
magic how
love
shit-
coming here. What are you doing tomorrow?
So-
What's tomorrow?
Like Thomas Hawk,
Oh, my.
he
my
writes
bad.
all the lyrics too.
Yeah, I know.
That would be.
Oh,
Oh,
we're knocking things
That's
over.
a.
Ah.
That's
That's
the
a
booze
sign.
over.
That's a
So
sign.
begins.
Apparently, I need some damn whiskey over here.
It's a
I-
win-
No.
Mm.
Nope. 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 Nope.
I
Nope.
need to tell you something.
But
What's that?
Oh no, you go. You go. Sorry.
You go.
Sorry.
no, but I'm saying
You?
another. Yeah, we're gonna me.
The last one. It looks like. You want to fight over this one?
Nope.
Nope.
I ain't fighting him. He's
I
got
got a
it.
Corona in here. You want a Corona?
I'll take a Corona.
Ah,
Might as well.
There you go,
Peer
brother.
pressure.
There you go.
Donka.
So,
All right.
I mean, Swedish drummer writing English lyrics for.
I know. That's not lost on me, by the way.
That's Meshuggah, by the way. I don't know if you know Thomas Aga.
But
Not a
which
monster fan, but I mean, I know who he is.
I want to
Yeah.
tell you something very quickly.
Okay.
Okay.
Totally love those guys.
So, I have almost. I'm missing 10 issues of Modern Drummer
Which ones?
since
69
1982.
to 72.
No, I have every issue of Modern Drummer since 1982 minus 10. One of them is Phil Collins on the cover, who is my idol.
They started in. We were talking about that the other day. I think they started in.
1980.
No, it was earlier.
No, I think it was 1980. They didn't start in
No,
the 70s.
it was earlier because I'm going to tell you why. Because it wasn't a monthly thing at the time. I think it was like
Oh,
it
so
was
they
like
did like a
one-
quarterly kind of thing?
it was quarterly or by
Oh,
yearly.
Like, so it was like a zine kind of thing?
The same
Something
thing happened
like
with
that,
Bass
yeah.
Player.
Did it
That-
really?
It was
'Cause I
quarterly
remember-
and then became monthly.
Really?
First
Dude,
guy was Geddy Lee.
You are knowledgeable.
Yeah, I'm going to say it was because they had some. I remember like I think fucking Bonham was on one of the first ones.
Really?
Yeah,
No
but it was,
shit.
I'm going to say it was 77,
In the
78.
casket?
Huh?
In the casket? Or
No.
Yeah.
Well, because he was still alive at the time.
Yes.
Sorry.
What happened to
He
him,
was a-
Rachel?
He was like a cover. He was like a cover
He
story.
made pukies and he choked on.
Yeah, 40 shots of vodka supposedly.
He made
Yeah.
pukies and he couldn't swallow it all.
Made pukies.
Jesus Christ,
Just
How do
make
you
it sound adorable.
That's some drinking right there, man. 40 shots of fucking vodka. It's a lot of vodka. How many bottles is that?
I don't know.
40 shots? I mean, 2?
Big. That's
But
Well, I mean, a shot, a single, like 1 ounce is a shot.
Yeah.
Unless he
Yeah.
was
no,
doing.
isn't it? It's 1.5 ounce. For
That's a
shot.
jigger. That's a jigger. It's 1.5 ounces. And I mean, so if he's doing 40 of those,
We-
so
that's
that was the
60
story, though,
ounces.
wasn't it? He had like, was it 40 shots of vodka?
Yeah.
So that's
But
six,
like,
60
wasn't he doing like
ounces.
sleeping pills and stuff too?
No, he just passed out,
Oh.
and then he just threw up on his own
Died,
vomit. Yeah,
Threw up on his own vomit.
yeah.
He didn't throw up somebody else's
Sounds
vomit.
like
Wasn't his own-
college, man.
You can't dust for
You
vomit.
can't dust for
I
vomit.
prefer. I prefer to throw up
Yeah.
somebody else's
You can't
vomit.
dust for vomit.
You got a
borrow
nice
your
little
vomit? I
Spinal
need
Tap
to throw up.
reference there.
blah 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 blah.
Killer movie. Killer movie.
Yep.
I think I might go watch it after
That-
after I load up this episode. I think
That
I'm gonna go
is a must see for any musician.
What is?
Spinal
Tap.
Oh,
Best
yeah,
in
of
show.
course.
Yeah,
Anybody
because-
that wants
and
to play
Spinal Tap.
live, anybody wants to play live, a lot of that shit is legitimate. It's like the
Well, they say the biggest one out of that movie is getting lost going to the stage.
I was
Yes.
just gonna say that.
Yeah.
That's
so
where
legit.
everybody.
well, I was going to say
a lot of
that
people say
or
that.
the puppet show is supposed to be before.
Yeah.
Not
the-
The,
not
the
wireless
headliner.
system at like the naval base or whatever.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
seen that happen.
yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, so I have a wireless system now, so
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
hoping
anymore,
that's-
and it's kind of because of that.
Right.
So
playing some
Wireless.
country radio.
That's kind of crazy. It's like I see people like, no offense to anybody who uses wirelesses, but I mean the clubs that they play are so small.
yeah.
It's like, I mean, where are you gonna go? You can only move like 3 or 4 feet, anyways. I mean,
Well, we have a roller coaster that we bring in.
There's that.
and,
I yeah,
There's
did a little
that.
whirly gig thing, and yeah.
it was weird because I went and saw Black
Run
Label
out into the
Society up at Emo's
Oh, nice.
on my birthday.
Oh, sweet.
It was.
I was at the show.
fuck-
Corrosion of
love-
Conformity.
I
Yeah,
love-
Corrosion.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
there.
Was he like half dead or what? The singer.
I left for
Holy
Black Label.
shit.
Oh, for Corrosion.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
they were a little sleepy.
No. It wasn't Corrosion. It was I Hate God.
I hate God. I
The-
thought they were okay.
The singer was like, it looked like he was like knocking on death's door. He
Dude,
just,
those guys are
Oh
fucking.
my
They've
God.
been around the block a couple times.
He was beat the fuck up,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He was like, anyways, but I thought because Zach's like he plays with a cable,
Right.
always has, always pretty much will,
Mm-hmm.
and so his guitar solo, he came out in the crowd, and if you know the way it's set up where the board is,
Yeah.
he walked all the way. If you're looking at the stage, he walked all the way around, right, and he's got a cable. So this
Was
guy
it like
had
100-foot cable or something?
so, anyways, I guess his tech had a brand new cable, and he's just going like this with it, right? And it got to the point where he couldn't go around with it, so the people in the crowd were just holding it up like this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he could like come over. You know,
Right.
it was crazy. I've never seen anybody do that.
Wow.
So I have normally played with a cable, but I've noticed that lately it's like James and I like to interact while on stage, and coming like back and forth on stage, and it's like tripping over cable or like stepping on it and stuff. I got like one of those like old kind of vintage coily cables.
That's where all the tone is, man. The coily cable.
Yeah,
That's what they say. I think it's a guitar player
telling
say
you.
it's just
Telling
wireless
you.
is like ruined guitar sounds.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, when I still had a wireless system, it sounded great to me. It was just that it was, I don't know, once every half hour, just the signal would cut out, just for like a split second.
Yeah.
And I'm
Okay,
sure
nice.
if
Like
you get like
Wi-Fi.
if you get like a really high end system, I'm sure that
Yeah.
happens way less frequently. But it was just enough that it kind of bothered me just as a stickler.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Because I used to run the show on Wi-Fi. I'm like, fuck that. I think it's fucking Wi-Fi is the worst. It's constantly falling apart. And you drop it and this and that. So I said, man, we could do a cable.
My students call me technotard because I don't know about any of this.
Really?
Stuff.
How old are
Anything
you?
that- in 43.
43?
Yeah,
Old enough.
old enough
Well,
to
it's
be a
weird because-
technotard.
Yeah, because my thing is I gotta, I do everything myself. And when I first got this thing together, I mean, I was on YouTube for fucking months trying to figure out the littlest thing on how to get everything to work. And, like the first 10, 15 episodes were just embarrassing because shit would be breaking down in the middle. And forget about the Facebook feed; it's gone now. And
Now we know what to look for.
yeah, it's
The first
I'm
10
still there.
episodes.
there you go.
yeah, they're fucking horrible. Oh my god. I had no fucking plan. I had like zero plan. My friends came up on the first 10,
So what
I had nothing written.
what prompted you to kind of like
Turning the questions around.
That's fine. That's fine.
How
No,
did
no,
you
I
get
mean,
started?
yeah,
that's what we
absolutely.
talk
It's
about.
like
In the hot
Um,
seat.
In the hot seat.
Bobby Sharon's-
basically-
Bobby Sharon's in the hot seat.
Basically, what do you call it? I have a couple comedian buddies out in L.A. and became really good friends with this guy named Joey Coco Diaz. And he's got his podcast. He's one of the Joe Rogan crew.
right.
He has a podcast called The Church of What's Happening Now, and I kind of friended him over Facebook, and we were into the same kind of music. We're on the same age and everything, so he would come into town, play Cap City and stuff, and we just become friends. And so one day he was talking, saying, "Hey, he goes, a lot of people in town." He goes, "Why don't you get something together?" And I don't really that many people in Austin have podcasts, and I didn't know if anybody that had one. I know Johnny Gotti's been having his for years. It wasn't on my radar.
Right.
And I actually had him up here, which was kind of cool. That was
Cool.
fucking awesome.
Nice.
And
He's a cool dude.
him
Nice.
and
He's a
AJ
sweet
came up
guy.
here. Yeah.
Cool.
And I mean, we had a 3-hour podcast. It was fucking great. We had a great time. So anyways, it was a thing where I said, okay. So I started getting it together, and I, my thing was I was going to start, having bands and musicians and MMA fighters and comedians, and I was going to do everything.
Right.
But then it just slowly turned into awesome musicians because I knew, this band led into this band led into this guitar player led into this singer. I mean, it was just one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, 120 some odd episodes later, and it's turned into this, and it's kind of gaining traction, which is kind of weird,
That's awesome.
That's rad.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
but I've had comedians on, and I'm still going to do all that,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but
can have
Well, I mean-
Milo Yiannopoulos on.
Who?
Milo Minimama.
Yeah, but it's weird because
Phenomena.
if you go out to L.A., you know, the comedians rule the podcast world.
They
Right.
do?
Yeah.
Really?
They rule the podcast world. You might have some musicians. I mean, Nikki Sixx had a podcast for a while, and he recently just gave it up.
Was that the 6 a.m. the 6 a.m. thing?
No, he was doing a radio show. It was what the fuck was it called?
He's not doing that anymore.
No, he actually just ended it
I
like
was gonna say
a couple weeks ago.
I was just listening to a couple.
Yeah.
weeks
Sixth
ago,
Sense?
so- Yeah, Sixth
Oh,
Sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he ended
yeah.
Sixth Sense. Yeah,
Really?
He's
Huh.
very smart.
Oh, he's
Oh,
a
yeah.
smart dude.
Smart
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. He's lucky to be alive.
That too.
Yeah, but he had a great show. He had a great show going, but it was more of a
That might have kickstarted something. Like,
Kickstarted.
you know what? I
Corazon.
could have been dead.
yeah. So I
Maybe
don't
better
know.
be smart.
So I started watching it. He had this it was like an audio video podcast, so sort of like what mine is. And I'm watching it, going, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And it had like Ozzy and Zach was on, you know, and he goes, "Oh yeah, this is our last episode." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What? What are you fucking? Why?
Wow.
Why are you stopping it?" You know? But he's been doing it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, it's all the comedians like Joe Rogan. I mean, every comedian you can name a comedian, he has a podcast. They just all
Oh,
have
yeah.
them.
Right.
Yeah, Rogan and Bill Burr, I'm like just constant with. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. And Joey's one of those guys. He's part of that crew.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so yeah, he's the one that kind of put the bug in my ear, and I was like, you know what, maybe I can do this. So slowly but surely, I kind of got stuff together, and the beginning was like an audio podcast, and then people are going, why don't you put it on Facebook Live? So we started doing the Facebook Live with the iPhone, and
Yeah.
looked like shit, and then got a camera for the for the Facebook Live, then went to YouTube, started up a YouTube channel, and now it's like this great killer HD feed on everywhere.
Nice.
The audio goes up on iTunes,
Damn it! I didn't do the makeup.
Spotify.
Damn
I mean,
it. No guy liner.
Fuck. Guy liner. I mean, never mind the
Yeah.
powder I need on my head because of the shine.
Aaron, you're fired.
Yep.
you're fired.
Again.
So, anyways, like I said, it's sort of taken off, and it's a cool thing, and it's giving an outlet to a lot of people that can't go out and do. Not everybody can go on KLBJ and be on Loris's show or whatever, or can't go on Dave TV or can't
Right.
go, wherever. This is something different.
So, to be very honest,
Your show sucks, and so don't you.
Bullshit.
no,
I've heard that before. That's all right. though.
so I've seen, a lot of posts about the podcast. I mean, not ours, but like in general.
It's probably
just
me
like
putting them
you-
up.
No, but it's like,
I
but
kill it on social media.
you-
Have to.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the fact that you came to us before we had ever played a show, I don't know if you known that or not, but and said, hey, I want you guys on, was humbling and like exhilarating at the same time. And then that tonight would be, hey, I've got an opening. Let's do this. I know that you guys rehearse, but hey, I want you guys on before your show. It's like,
Well, that's the thing,
dude,
because I
that's like-
want.
it's like really, like I said, humbling, but like exhilarating at the same time. It's like, dude, this is amazing. And I said it earlier, but I absolutely appreciate it.
No,
Thank
no
you
problem.
so
You're
much.
very welcome. My thing is this: it's like and I tell all the bands this: the way that we have social media now is if you're not on social media pumping your show every day, like say you have you have your show and only 5 people show up, right? And you're like, hey, did you advertise on social media? You're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram. No, well, you fucking deserve that 5 people.
Yep.
Right.
You need to you
Absolutely.
need to fucking pimp your shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's either sick of that logo or they're sick of that logo. They're sick of hearing about
Right.
CobraCast podcast with Bobby Sheeran. They're sick of it because I have it out there so much. Everybody knows me because my shit's out there. I
Right.
make sure my shit's out there.
Has to be.
And that's what you got to do in order to get your shit ahead these days.
Right.
You might not want. It's a pain in the ass. Trust me. Do you think I like being up at 3:00 in the morning posting shit? No, but there's
Right.
people on that time. Like that drummers episode. I mean, we had 500 people watching that day, and that was basically Central Texas people.
Right.
And I looked at the numbers today, and it's up near 1,000 that watched the whole
make
thing.
Make it 1,001 because
That
I'll
watched
check that
the
out.
whole thing.
Nice.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not just people that, because you get the algorithms of who watches what or whatever, and I got a thing on my this thing called Libsyn. I call it the record company of podcasts, because you put your MP3 up there, the whole show, and it sends it to Spotify and iTunes and you name it, I'm on it.
Right.
It sends you, so it hits all at one time. But it shows you who from where they're watching it, how long they watched it, and we had close to 1,000 people in the Austin area that watched that Drummers podcast. To me, that's 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Right.
So slow. Everything's a slow progressive build.
Sure.
Baby steps.
Yep.
If you get into this kind of business and you want to get 1 million downloads your first episode, it's fucking gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, if you're Joe Rogan, yeah, of course. Oh yeah, you can get 1 million on your first because people know who you are.
Yeah, it's
You did that
20
marketing
years.
ahead of time. Yeah.
I just came out of fucking left field. But what I'm saying is, for my thing, the way things are going now, social media is king. And if you have a show and 5 people show up and you didn't do your homework and didn't get your shit out there, you fucking deserve 5 people.
Yep.
right.
Sure.
Get your
No,
shit
it's-
fucking rolling, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one thing if they've heard, oh, I heard about that show, but I couldn't make it, versus, oh, I didn't hear about it. Well, then that's your fault. You
Right.
know.
That's why I put up those fucking stupid little memes. What don't be a jabroni, go see Tony kind of shit, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I like
Because-
those, man.
yeah,
Those are good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and I plan on doing that for the rest of the. Everybody's gonna get hit, so get ready.
I say go
but-
for her. She's an easy target.
But what I'm saying is, but people see that, and they, hey, I might want to go check that out, and they click on the link to the event. Oh, I'll be a maybe, but maybe I'll go to this kind of a thing.
Right.
And when I did my event, holy shit, I was on there every fucking day, and our goal for that day, we wanted to have 200 people. We got 180. So I mean, for our first event, and had 180 people. But man, we killed it social media wise.
Right.
But that's what you gotta fucking do. You gotta get on there. You gotta share. You gotta repost. You gotta do all that shit.
Yeah. That's reality as it is right now.
The proof is in the pudding. If you want people to come to your show these days, you gotta,
Yep.
And then there's a lot of gigs next Friday, a lot of gigs next Saturday.
Yeah, it's fucking South by.
But
Yeah.
you gotta put it out there. Hey man, you look at this. Look at these fucking 4 bands. These are all killers. How you gonna miss this?
Yep.
No cover. How you gonna miss this? 4 killer bands with no cover.
Right.
Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
But you got to get it out there.
Yep.
Is that our show? Is it
Yep.
free?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
If
right.
it's not free, it's
Yeah.
$5.
Awesome.
And it's like, if you can't make it down to Hanover's, and it's free with 4 killer bands, your fucking life sucks, and so do you. How you like that?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's terrible. I shouldn't say that. But speaking of, hold on a second. I got to get me another water before I lose my voice.
Go for it.
People. I'm talking to the people out in podcast land right now. In the cloud. Don't trust the cloud, okay? You can't trust
I
the
don't
cloud.
know what the cloud is.
But don't, whatever, hey, when people say, hey,
It's a thing that has things in it.
Hey, when people say, hey,
Technical
put your
term.
shit in the cloud, say, I don't trust the cloud.
I don't know what
That's
it is.
my new t-shirt. I don't trust the cloud.
Technotard doesn't know what the cloud is.
Technotard. That's awesome. Anyways, people out there in podcast land, here's the deal. You got a lot of killer bands in Austin. You got a lot of killer venues in Austin. But they need people to go to these killer venues and to see these killer bands. So, I mean, there's a lot of bands, a lot of venues aren't charging cover. Man, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on Instagram. Find a band that's got a buzz or just your favorite band in town, Go pick up your girlfriend, go pick up your boyfriend, have a date night. Go over to Hanover's. Let's take Hanover's, for example, right? No cover, right? No cover. But what you need to do, go in there, don't pay the cover. If they got a tip jar, man, drop a couple, $2-3 in the tip jar,
Yeah.
If they don't have a tip jar, man, go buy some merch. Go buy a shirt, go buy
Yeah.
a CD, a sticker,
Yeah.
a coffee mug, whatever the fuck they got selling.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, and I've had people tell me this, that if someone buys a T-shirt of theirs, that's their gas money for the ride home to South Austin or wherever they're coming
Could very
from.
well
Yeah.
be. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and if they don't have merch or whatever, a lot of clubs are doing this. No one pays with cash anymore. Everybody swipes a card at the end of the night.
Right.
On your bar tab, it'll have your total, have the the tip for the waitress, but also some of them have a band tip.
Hmm.
You know, I remember 2 months
Wow.
ago. Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
where
That's a new thing.
That's cool.
yeah, it's a new
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
I saw a band. You know, I don't remember what band it was. It was a couple months back. I put $10 in because I like the band.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is every little bit helps because musicians in this town aren't really making that much, and a lot of people depend on that money. You know, it's really weird. People bitch about a $5 cover, but they'll go to the bar and drop $100 on a bunch of booze to get fucking liquored up, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't.
And as an addendum, I would say, even if you don't know a band, if you like a bar,
Yeah,
and
frequent.
I mean, if you like to frequent a bar and a band is playing this weekend, just go and help support that band, or I mean,
for the
just
venue.
take a chance and go to a bar or venue that you've never been and
Yeah,
see what's out there that's could be new, and you might get surprised about pleasantly surprised about who's playing, what the music is and stuff. It's like just help support the groups that are out there.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of times me and Crystal will go out. It doesn't happen that often anymore because there's one event that we usually go to. But man, there's been nights that we'll hit like 3 different venues and see a set by
Yeah,
a different band in each venue.
right.
Spread the love a little out, a little bit. So,
That's
but
awesome.
but like I said, you got to kill. Next weekend, take your pick. You got a ton of stuff going around town, man. But we got this thing going on over at Hanover's, at 333, a good Rogering, Blackheart Saints, and you guys. I mean, it's like, yous guys.
Use guys.
Use
That's
fucking
us
guys.
guys.
These fucking guys,
Yeah.
And it's what, your third show?
Third show.
Third show,
Third
man.
show. Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on now, people.
Yeah.
Citizen Band Radio. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. Unreal. I got one sponsor, and man, we're almost at 2.5 hours. Holy Christ, I can't believe this.
Time flies.
Unbelievable.
Time flies
Anyway-
with good conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's what it's all about, man. I'm not good with writing down questions and topics and shit like that, because that, to me, that's kind of stale. So, anyways, are you needing merch for your band, your brand, your business? You got an event coming up. Anyways, Crystal Jordan Creative Branding can take care of all your merch needs. Anything from shirts and koozies to shot glasses to hats to banners, you name it, she can make it. She's had some crazy stuff over since I've known her. Stuff people want on stuff. She did my banners. She did my shot glasses. I mean, she did all my T-shirts for my events. Just like great quality stuff. Not the stuff you buy online where, you wash it once and it comes out one of the arms is missing, or it shrinks up to the point where your pet poodle can't wear it because it's so small. I mean,
Every time.
every time.
Every time.
It happens. Trust me. I've seen this shit happen.
No shit.
Anyways, whatever you want with your logo on it, she can handle. So you can find Crystal Jordan on the web or on Facebook at crystaljordan.com. And she spells her name with an I, so it's CRISTAL.com. And that's Crystal Jordan Creative Branding. So give her a shout on Facebook. She's on Facebook all the time. So am I. And with that, that's about all I got for that. You guys got anything else?
Just thank you, man.
Yeah,
this is
dude.
awesome.
Really
This is
worry
amazing.
about it. It's all
Appreciate
good.
it.
It's all
This
good
is
now, man.
amazing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be
Yeah.
back.
Thanks for supporting the
Yeah.
Austin scene, dude.
It's all good in the hood.
Killer. Love it.
I can't wait till next Friday night. It's gonna be
Either
killer.
can we.
We're stoked.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a badass show.
Yeah.
It's been, but like I said, those 3 bands, and now including you guys, man, we're just like one big fucking happy family. I mean,
Yep.
because we all get together and we all fucking raise hell. We all bust balls on each other. It's nothing but love, man.
And,
And
I
I
mean-
can't wait.
I'll say thanks to, right off the bat, thanks to Tony to putting us on the bill.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be awesome, and we're gonna show you that we deserve it.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And like I end this podcast every time the same way. People, please try to do the right thing, because Lord knows most of you don't. And with that, take care of yourself and take care of each other, and we will talk to you soon. Later.